change based on what you focus on. A single positive thought can lift your spirits, while a negative one can bring you down. This phenomenon is not just a coincidence, it's a testament to the incredible power of your mind. This book will guide you in mastering this power, showing you how to use your thoughts to transform every aspect of your life. We begin with the foundational principle: your thoughts are the building blocks of your reality. Each thought sends out a vibration that influences your emotions, actions, and ultimately your life circumstances. By learning to control your thoughts, you can steer your life in the direction you want. This book will teach you how to become aware of your thoughts and consciously choose those that support your goals. Consider this: successful people across various fields.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're taking...
Welcome to Audiowormofficial, where timeless classics... Welcome to Audiowormofficial, where timeless classics come to life through voice. Today, we bring you a new book. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this literary masterpiece. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new audiobook upload.
You become what you think: the secret to transforming your life. Written by Justice O. Malcolm. Published by Audiobooks Office. Introduction. What if the secret to transforming your life lies in the very thoughts you think every day? Imagine a life where your dreams aren't just aspirations but realities, crafted by the power of your mind. In this book, you become what you think. We will unveil
Want to study
how your
abroad
thoughts
but need to
shape
get your English
reality,
certification?
and how you can draw upon this power to create the life you desire. Have you ever noticed how your mood can change based on what you focus on? A single positive thought can lift your spirits, while a negative one can bring you down. This phenomenon is not just a coincidence, it's a testament to the incredible power of your mind. This book will guide you in mastering this power, showing you how to use your thoughts to transform every aspect of your life. We begin with the foundational principle: your thoughts are the building blocks of your reality. Each thought sends out a vibration that influences your emotions, actions, and ultimately your life circumstances. By learning to control your thoughts, you can steer your life in the direction you want. Become aware of your thoughts and consciously choose those that support your goals. Consider this: successful people across various fields often attribute their achievements to a positive mindset and the power of visualization. They understand that by focusing on their goals and maintaining a positive outlook, they attract opportunities and overcome obstacles more easily. You will learn the same techniques, starting with the practice of positive thinking and visualization, to create a mental blueprint for your success. Next, we explore the science behind the mind's power. Modern neuroscience has shown that our brains are remarkably adaptable and capable of change. This concept is known as neuroplasticity. By consistently thinking positive thoughts and visualizing your desired outcomes, you can rewire your brain to support your goals. This book explains these scientific principles in easy, understandable words, giving you the knowledge you need to change your life. Affirmations are another powerful tool in your mental toolkit. These encouraging comments support your intentions and help you transition from doubt to confidence. This book will guide you in crafting effective affirmations that resonate with your goals and integrating them into your daily routine. Each lesson in the guidebook includes specific instructions and activities that you can instantly apply in your life. Whether you are new to these concepts or looking to increase your understanding, you will find valuable insights that resonate with your ideal self. As you embark on this journey, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. By mastering your thoughts, you can create a life filled with abundance, joy, and fulfillment. You believe what you think, you become what you think, and your reality is shaped by what you think. In You Become What You Think, you'll discover the profound influence your thoughts have on your life. Now imagine if you could access this power, what would you do? How far could you go? The book provides a straightforward method to understanding this transforming journey, revealing a world in which your thoughts may work miracles in your life. Are you ready to tap into your mind's potential? Welcome to You Become What You Think lessons. Let's begin this transformative journey together and unlock the extraordinary potential of your mind. For more information about the ebook version of this audio, visit audiobooksoffice.com. We notice that 72% of you who listen to our video are not yet subscribed to the channel. Please help support the channel by hitting the subscribe button and like the video. Thanks for inspiring us to create more content for you. Chapter 1. Unlock the power of your thoughts. Harnessing the power of your thoughts can be a transformative experience, giving you the ability to shape your reality and become the person you aspire to be. Think of your mind as a garden where your thoughts are seeds. You've got the power to cultivate beautiful flowers or let weeds overrun your space. It's all about the seeds you choose to water and nurture. Now, let's get analytical for a moment. Your thoughts are powerful because they influence your emotions, which in turn shape your actions. When you're constantly watering the seeds of positivity, optimism, and resilience in your mind garden, you'll likely notice a shift in your emotional state. You'll start feeling more upbeat, more resilient, and more capable of tackling challenges head-on. And guess what happens next? Your actions start reflecting these positive emotions, propelling you towards your goals and aspirations. This isn't some mystical, unreachable concept. It's grounded in neuroscience. Your brain is an adaptive organ, constantly rewiring itself based on your thoughts and experiences. This process, known as neuroplasticity, means that by consciously choosing your thoughts, you're literally reshaping your brain. Now let's be empathetic. It's not always easy to cultivate positive thoughts, especially when life throws curveballs. But remember, you're not alone in this journey. The key is to be patient with yourself, start small, and gradually build up. Keep in mind that every garden begins with one seed. Your mind garden is exactly the same. Unlocking the power of your thoughts is your first step towards becoming the architect of your reality. You've got this. Chapter 2. Identifying negative thought patterns. In spite of the fact that harnessing the power of your ideas is a critical initial step, it is equally necessary to detect and address any negative thought patterns that may be preventing you from making progress. These patterns, often rooted in fear, insecurity, or past trauma, can inadvertently shape your reality in ways you don't intend, thwarting your efforts to create a life you truly desire. Now, you might ask, how do I identify these negative thought patterns? The first sign of a negative thought pattern is often a feeling of unease or discomfort. You might feel anxious, irritable, or just off without knowing why. That's because your thoughts aren't isolated incidents, they're interconnected, forming a web that influences your emotions, behaviors, and overall mental state. Another clue is the recurrence of certain negative thoughts. If you often find yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I always mess up," you're likely stuck in a negative thought loop. These loops can be hard to break free from, but awareness is the first step. Chapter 3. Cultivating positive mental habits. Shifting your focus towards cultivating positive mental habits is a transformative step in the right direction. And it's easier than you might think. It's all about making the conscious decision to change and commit to it. Yes, it takes time and effort, but the rewards are immense, and the long-term effects are life-changing. Beginning with good thoughts, replace any negative ones you have with them. This is not to say that any problem should be ignored, rather. It means confronting them with a more optimistic and proactive frame of mind. To give you an example, rather than telling yourself, "I can't do this," you should tell yourself, "I'll find a way to get it done for sure." This seemingly insignificant change in viewpoint has the potential to have a significant influence on your mental health. Acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. This builds confidence and reinforces a positive outlook. Similarly, practice gratitude. It is a potent instrument that has the potential to dramatically increase positivity. By acknowledging the good things in your life, you're training your mind to focus on positivity. Surround yourself with positivity as well. This includes people, environments, and experiences that uplift you. Negativity can be contagious, but so can positivity. Chapter 4. Tapping into the subconscious mind. Ever wondered about the power your subconscious mind holds over your life? It's a hidden reservoir of potential that you can tap into to shape your reality. This part of the mind absorbs information like a sponge, influencing your actions, reactions, and decisions without you even realizing it. Understanding your subconscious mind begins with recognizing its influence. It's a silent partner in your life, constructing your reality based on stored information. It's not swayed by logic or reason, but by emotions and ingrained beliefs. So if you've ever found yourself reacting to situations in a way that seems automatic, that's your subconscious mind at work. To tap into this power, you need to establish a connection with your subconscious mind. This process isn't as intimidating as it sounds. It's about building mindfulness, being aware of your thoughts, and understanding the feelings behind your actions. You can start by paying attention to your dreams, which are a direct line to your subconscious mind. Analyze them, decode their meanings, and you'll begin to understand your subconscious messages. Always keep in mind that your subconscious mind is a trustworthy ally. It's always working, even when you're not consciously thinking. But it's not a rogue agent. With the right tools and techniques, you can guide your subconscious towards positive outcomes. You have the power to shape your thoughts, and by extension, your reality. In the next section, we'll explore how you can visualize these desired outcomes. But for now, remember your subconscious mind is an untapped resource waiting to be harnessed. Chapter 5. Visualizing your desired outcomes. Often, the key to achieving your goals lies in your ability to vividly imagine them. The technique of constructing a mental image of an event that will take place in the future is known as visualization. Visualization is a powerful tool that you may use to create your reality. It's not magic, it's science. Your brain tends to work towards what it visualizes, driving you to act in ways that turn the vision into a reality. Imagine your dreams with as much detail as you can muster. If you're aiming for a new job, visualize yourself in that role. Picture your workspace, your colleagues, your tasks. Feel the satisfaction of completing a project, the joy of collaboration, the pride of contributing. The more detail you can imagine, the more real it becomes to your brain, and the more motivated you become to achieve it. But remember, visualization isn't a one-and-done deal. Consistency is key. Make it a part of your daily routine. Spend a few minutes each day immersed in your imagined reality, and you'll start to notice changes in your behavior and mindset aligned with your goals. Yet, it's not just about the big picture. Visualizing the steps you need to take to get there's just as vital. Envision the challenges and how you'll overcome them. This approach not only boosts your confidence, but also prepares you for real-world obstacles. Chapter 6. Affirmations for transformative change. You can accelerate yourself toward revolutionary change by harnessing the power of positive affirmations, which can set the stage for a mindset shift that will redefine your reality. Just as an athlete visualizes winning a race, you're encouraged to visualize your success. However, visualizations are amplified when paired with affirmations. Through the utilization of these two potent tools, you have the ability to efficiently rewire your brain, so altering the way in which you see and navigate the world around you. Affirmations are comments that are positive in particular, and they are designed to assist you in overcoming negative thoughts that are self-defeating. They act as a compass, guiding your brain towards your goals by focusing your thoughts on what you want to achieve. When you repeat these affirmations, you're not only repeating a collection of words, but also instilling these messages into your subconscious mind. Let's consider an example. If you're struggling with self-esteem, an affirmation such as "I am worthy and valuable" can help to reshape your self-image. When consistently repeated, your brain begins to accept this as truth, thereby changing your thought patterns and ultimately your reality. Don't forget that affirmations should always be in the present tense, as if what you're affirming is already happening. This is a powerful way to trick your mind into believing that your desired outcome is within reach, consequently propelling you closer to your goals. Chapter 7. Overcoming limiting beliefs. Despite the strength of your affirmations, the journey towards a positive mindset can encounter roadblocks in the form of limiting beliefs that you've ingrained within yourself. These deep-seated notions can dampen your optimism, sabotage your efforts, and keep you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. However, it's not an insurmountable obstacle. By earnestly confronting these limiting beliefs, you can begin to reshape your reality. Firstly, identify what these limiting beliefs are. They're often disguised as universal truths or just the way things are. You might believe you're not good enough, you can't succeed, or that you're destined to fail. These beliefs aren't truths, they're merely reflections of past experiences and societal conditioning. Once identified, challenge these beliefs. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it based on fact, or is it a product of fear or insecurity? Does it serve you in any positive way? If not, it's time to let it go. The next phase is to replace these limiting beliefs with ones that are uplifting. This isn't about denying reality, but about choosing a more positive perspective. You're not ignoring your flaws, you're acknowledging your potential. You're not denying your past, you're focusing on your future. Chapter 8. Mindfulness and present moment focus. Now, as you move forward on your journey, embracing mindfulness and focusing on the present moment becomes essential to truly becoming what you think. It's not just a trendy buzzword. Mindfulness is the state of being fully conscious and engaged with what's happening right now. It's about quieting the chatter in your mind and paying attention to the here and now. This practice doesn't just help you stay grounded, but also plays an important role in shaping your reality based on your thoughts. When you're mindful, you're more aware of your thoughts. You're able to observe them without judgment and let them flow without holding on to them or pushing them away. It's a kind of mental hygiene that helps you cleanse your mind of negative, limiting thoughts that often lead to self-sabotage. Being focused on the present moment also helps you recognize the power of your thoughts. The past has already happened and the future is uncertain, but the present is what you have control over. By focusing on the now, you can direct your thoughts and energies towards creating the reality you desire. In essence, mindfulness and present moment focus serve as an important tool in your journey to becoming what you think. They help you gain control over your thoughts, making it easier for you to influence your reality. So don't disregard the power of the now. It's where your true ability to shape your life lies. Chapter 9. Harnessing the Law of Attraction. While you're journeying towards actualizing your thoughts, understanding and utilizing the law of attraction can serve as a powerful ally. This universal principle suggests that like attracts like, positive thoughts bring about positive events, while negative thoughts result in negative outcomes. It's not magic, but a law that governs your reality. To harness the law of attraction, you need to become aware of your thoughts and emotions. Your thoughts are like a magnet, drawing experiences that align with them. If you're constantly dwelling on fears and failures, you're likely to attract more of the same. On the other hand, if you shift your focus towards positivity and success, you'll start attracting conducive circumstances. That said, it's not about ignoring your negative emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, then consciously deciding to shift your focus. This, in essence, is the law of attraction manifesting your desired reality by controlling your thoughts. But remember, the law of attraction isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires patience, persistence, and most importantly, belief. You must truly believe in your ability to attract what you want. It's a continuous process that needs practice and commitment. The law of attraction isn't an escape from reality, but a tool to create a better one. It's about realizing that you have the power to shape your experiences and outcomes. By harnessing this law, you're taking control of your thoughts and, in turn, your reality. Chapter 10. Aligning your thoughts and actions. Harnessing the power of the law of attraction is an important step, but the journey doesn't stop there. You must also align your actions with your thoughts to truly manifest your desires. You can't just visualize success. You have to take determined steps towards it. Think of your thoughts as the architect of your reality and your actions as the builders. The architect can design the most splendid palace, but it remains a mere fantasy without the builders. Similarly, your thoughts need your actions to translate into reality. It's not enough to think positively and expect positive outcomes. You need to act in ways that are consistent with your thoughts. If you're harboring thoughts of fitness and health, but your actions consist of unhealthy eating and no exercise, you're sending conflicting messages to the universe. It's like rowing a boat in two directions at once. You won't get far. But when your thoughts and actions are in sync, you're not just rowing, you're sailing with the wind at your back. This alignment isn't always easy. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and consistency. But the results are worth the effort, transforming not just your reality, but your perception of yourself. Chapter 11. Manifesting abundance and prosperity. Exploring your mindset to focus on abundance and prosperity can truly become a game changer in your life. It's not just about positive thinking, it's about actively cultivating an attitude of expectancy, where you believe good things not only can happen, but they'll happen. Let's investigate the how. To manifest abundance and prosperity, you need to first identify what these words mean to you. Abundance isn't just about material wealth. It could be an abundance of joy, health, or relationships. Similarly, prosperity is more than just financial success. It could reflect a prosperous career or prosperous personal development. Your definition of these terms is key to understanding what you're truly seeking. The next step is to align your thoughts with your desired outcomes. If you're constantly focused on lack, you'll attract more lack. But by focusing on abundance and prosperity, you're creating a powerful energy that attracts positive outcomes. This doesn't mean ignoring negative situations, but rather choosing to focus on potential positives. Chapter 12. The Mind-Body Connection. Exploring the domain of the mind-body connection. It's important to understand that your thoughts and emotions can profoundly impact your physical health and well-being. Remember, your mind isn't just a vital entity floating around in your head, it's actively communicating with every cell in your body, affecting how you feel and function. Consider stress as an example. Your body will release hormones in response to stress, which may prompt your blood pressure to rise, your digestion to slow down, and your immune system to become suppressed. Over the course of time, prolonged exposure to stress might result in major health issues. On the flip side, positive thoughts and emotions can boost your body's natural healing capabilities. The mind-body connection isn't just about illness, it's also about wellness. Activities such as meditation, yoga, and mindfulness can be helpful in fostering a positive relationship between the mind and the body. These practices help you to relax, reduce stress, and improve your overall health. But don't think it's all about controlling your thoughts. It's also about listening to your body. If you're feeling tired or unwell, it could be your body's way of telling you that something's off in your mind. The mind-body connection shows that the power of your thoughts transcends the mere mental world. So be mindful of what you think and how you feel, because it's not just affecting your mind, it's shaping your reality. Chapter 13. Developing an empowered mindset. To develop an empowered mindset, you need to first believe in your ability to control and shape your thoughts and emotions. This isn't about suppressing feelings or ignoring negative thoughts, but rather acknowledging them and choosing how you respond. The first step is awareness. You can't change what you're not aware of. Be mindful of your thought patterns and emotional reactions. Don't judge or criticize yourself, observe. You'll start to recognize patterns and triggers that may not be serving you well. Next, practice self-compassion. It's not always easy to change long-established thought patterns, and you're bound to stumble. That's okay. Instead of berating yourself when you fall into old habits, show yourself kindness and understanding. Remember, you're working on improvement, not perfection. Now, put your desired thought patterns into action. Visualize the person you want to be and the mindset you want to embody. Then, start behaving as if you already are that person. Your thoughts will adjust to mirror your actions over time. Finally, surround yourself with positivity. People, environments, and experiences that uplift you can support your journey to an empowered mindset. They'll serve as reminders of what you're working towards and provide motivation to keep going. Developing an empowered mindset is a journey, not a destination. Having patience, perseverance, and a great deal of love for oneself are all necessary. But as you begin to align your thoughts with your desired reality, you'll find that you truly do become what you think. Chapter 14. Embracing a growth mindset. Now let's explore the concept of a growth mindset, a transformative approach that can revolutionize how you perceive challenges, setbacks, and your own potential. This way of thinking, which was initially articulated by the psychologist Carol Dweck, is the conviction that one's capabilities can be improved by the application of dedication, effort, and laborious effort. It's not just about raw talent or fixed intelligence. Imagine you're faced with a problem that seems insurmountable. If you have a fixed mindset, you're likely to give up, thinking you simply aren't smart or skilled enough. If, on the other hand, you have a growth mindset, you will view the problem as a challenge, giving you the opportunity to learn and develop. You'll understand that effort and perseverance, not natural talent, are the keys to success. Embracing a growth mindset isn't always easy. It requires you to change the way you think about yourself and your abilities. It is necessary for you to venture outside of your comfort zone, participate in risk-taking activities, and view failure as a chance for learning. The beauty of a growth mindset is that it's not just about academic or professional success. It's about personal growth and self-improvement. It is about coming to terms with the fact that you have the ability to take control of your own reality by means of your ideas and actions. Chapter 15. Releasing emotional baggage. Unpacking your emotional baggage is a crucial step towards becoming what you think, as it allows you to shed the weight of past experiences that may be holding you back. By holding on to old hurts, disappointments, or fears, you're fundamentally allowing those experiences to shape your thoughts and, by extension, your reality. Yet, it's not always easy to let go. These emotions can feel like a part of your identity. They're familiar, and even if they're painful, there's a comfort in that familiarity. It's here where you must remind yourself that you aren't your past. You're an evolving individual with the power to redefine your reality. Begin by acknowledging these emotions. It's okay to feel hurt or angry. These are valid emotions, and by recognizing them, you're taking a significant step towards healing. Kindly make an effort to identify the origin of these feelings. Is it a past relationship? A traumatic event? Understanding the source can help you begin to separate yourself from these feelings. Next, work on forgiving. This doesn't mean forgetting or condoning the actions that caused the pain. Instead, it's about releasing the control these experiences have over you. It's about choosing to move forward, to create a new narrative for yourself. Chapter 16. Practicing gratitude and appreciation. Often, the practice of expressing gratitude and appreciation can dramatically shift your perspective, steering your thoughts towards positivity and abundance. Think about it. When you're focused on what you're grateful for, there's little room left for negativity or scarcity. This isn't just a feel-good theory, it's backed by neuroscience research. Gratitude can increase serotonin production, a neurotransmitter that boosts your mood. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't have anything to be grateful for. That's where you're mistaken. Everyone has something to be grateful for. It could be the sun shining outside, a good book you've read, or even the fact that you're breathing. It's about finding joy and value in the small things, which when accumulated, aren't small at all. But how do you practice gratitude? Start by keeping a gratitude journal. Make it a habit to record 3 things for which you are thankful each day. They don't have to be monumental, even the simplest things count. You'll soon realize there's so much more to be thankful for than you ever imagined. Chapter 17. Incorporating meditation and reflection. While practicing gratitude and appreciation lays the groundwork for positive thinking, incorporating meditation and reflection into your daily routine can further solidify this mindset. You'll find it's not just about clearing your mind, but also about fostering a sense of self-awareness that helps you understand your thoughts and feelings better. Meditation, for instance, allows you to focus your thoughts and create a calm state of mind. It's not about emptying your mind, but rather about observing your thoughts without judgment. It's a practice that helps you recognize your thought patterns and how they influence your reality. It's like stepping outside yourself and watching a movie of your own thoughts, which can be an illuminating experience. Reflection, on the other hand, is about looking back on your thoughts, actions, and experiences with a critical eye. It allows you to identify patterns, learn from your mistakes, and grow as a person. When you reflect, you're essentially conducting a self-evaluation. You're checking in with yourself, examining how you've handled situations, and determining what you can do differently in the future. The incorporation of these activities into your daily routine will not result in an immediate transformation of your life. The procedure is a slow one that calls for patience and dedication on your part. But over time, you'll start to notice subtle shifts in your mindset. You'll become more aware of your thought patterns and how they shape your reality. Eventually, you will come to the realization that you are not merely a bystander to your existence, but rather an active player in the process of creating your reality. Chapter 18. Reframing challenges as opportunities. When you are willing to embrace a shift in viewpoint, you might start to perceive issues not as obstacles, but rather as chances for personal development and further education. This process is called reframing. It's not about pretending that everything's okay when it's not, but about finding a more constructive way to view your situation. Reframing is a powerful tool you can use to alter your mindset. It's a way of changing how you interpret your experiences, thereby changing how you respond to them. It's not denying the reality of your circumstances, but seeing them in a different light. Instead of viewing obstacles as insurmountable problems, you can see them as chances to learn and grow. For instance, let's say you've been passed over for a promotion at work. Instead of viewing this as a failure, you could view it as an opportunity to gain insight into what skills or experiences you might need to develop to be considered in the future. It's an opportunity to have a conversation with your boss about what you can do to improve and advance in your career. Reframing isn't about ignoring the negative, but about seeing the potential for positive change. It's about understanding that your thoughts shape your reality, so changing your thoughts can change your reality. This doesn't mean you'll never face difficulties, but it does mean that you can face them with a more positive, constructive mindset. It's important to remember that reframing doesn't happen overnight. It's a skill that takes practice. But with time and effort, you can start to see challenges as opportunities, and in doing so, you'll become more resilient, adaptable, and empowered to shape your reality. Chapter 19. Cultivating self-love and acceptance. Regularly practicing self-love and acceptance is an essential step in beginning what you think, as it allows you to appreciate your strengths and acknowledge your weaknesses without judgment. When you foster self-love, you're laying the groundwork for positive thoughts and attitudes about yourself. This positive self-view then permeates into your subconscious mind, influencing your actions and reactions and ultimately shaping your reality. Take a moment to contemplate how you talk to yourself. Do you use kind and loving words, or are you diligent and critical? Self-talk is a powerful tool for self-acceptance. If you're constantly criticizing yourself for your shortcomings, you're creating a reality where you never feel good enough. Conversely, if you can learn to speak to yourself with compassion, acknowledging your flaws but also recognizing your worth, you're more likely to create a reality that reflects this self-love. It's important to remember that self-love and acceptance aren't about ignoring your weaknesses or pretending they don't exist. They are about accepting them with compassion and understanding, and using them as stepping stones for personal development. You're not perfect, and that's okay. What matters is that you're constantly working to learn, grow, and become a better version of yourself. Cultivating self-love and acceptance takes time and intentional effort, but it's a journey worth beginning. Remember, you become what you think. So start believing that you're worthy of love and acceptance, and watch as your world transforms to reflect this belief. Chapter 20. Surrounding yourself with positive influences. Just as you nurture self-love, it's equally important to surround yourself with positive influences, as these are the individuals who will foster a supportive environment for your growth. Their impact can't be underestimated. They'll encourage you when you stumble, celebrate your victories, and provide constructive criticism to help you improve. Essentially, positive influences help mold your thought patterns to reinforce your self-belief and optimism. Now, it's key to understand that positive influences aren't just people who tell you what you want to hear. They're individuals who challenge you, inspire you, and push you towards becoming your best self. They're the ones who genuinely want you to succeed and will do what they can to assist in your journey. Be mindful, though, of the subtle difference between positive influences and those who feed your ego. The latter can lead you down a path of complacency and inflated self-importance. Positive influences, on the other hand, will consistently promote growth, humility, and resilience. Consider your current circle. Are there people who drain your energy or constantly bring negativity? If so, it might be time for some changes. Sometimes it's not about cutting people off, but rather expanding your circle to include more positive influences. This isn't always an easy task, but it's an essential step towards creating a better mental environment for yourself. Chapter 21. Consistency and commitment to change. You've embraced the idea that your thoughts shape your reality. Now it's essential to understand that consistency and commitment are the engines driving that change. It's not enough to make a change once. You must commit to it relentlessly and weather the inevitable resistance that comes with transformation. Embracing consistency in your thoughts, like a steadfast sail against the changing winds, becomes a powerful commitment to personal change and growth. Consistency acts as the compass that guides your thoughts, helping you maintain focus and direction amidst life's inevitable storms. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts, but also about thinking them consistently. Your thoughts, when consistent, create a powerful momentum that can propel you towards your desired reality. Just as a river, through consistent flow, carves a path through even the toughest rock, your consistent thoughts can shape your world in ways you mightn't yet realize. Consistency's role isn't about rigidity or inflexibility. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's the ability to stay committed to your thoughts, your beliefs, and your goals, even when the circumstances around you are changing. You see, consistency isn't just a trait, it's a strategy, a tool you can use to navigate the sometimes rough seas of life. Harnessing the power of commitment, it's your steadfast dedication to changing your thought patterns that can truly transform your life. It's not a one-time event, but a steady, ongoing process. You're not just making a choice, you're making a pledge to yourself. Think of commitment as the bedrock of change. Without it, consistency, which we discussed earlier, can't be maintained. You may stumble, fall, or get distracted, and that's perfectly okay. It's your commitment that'll help you stand up, dust off, and continue your journey towards transformation. However, remember, commitment doesn't mean being harsh or unforgiving towards yourself. It's about acknowledging your efforts, celebrating your small victories, and learning from your setbacks. It's a gentle, yet firm, reminder to yourself that you're in it for the long haul. Moreover, your commitment isn't just about you. It creates a ripple effect, inspiring and influencing others around you. When you're committed to changing your thought patterns, you're also contributing to a change in collective consciousness. It's a challenging, yet exciting journey. But remember, it's your commitment that'll drive this change. It's your power. Embrace it. As we journey into understanding change as a necessary process, it's important to remember that this transformation requires both consistency and an unwavering commitment to alter your thought patterns. You must be relentless, holding steadfast to your resolve and making small, consistent adjustments to the way you think. Remember, change isn't always a monumental shift. Rather, it's a series of small, deliberate steps that cumulatively result in a significant transformation. Your thought patterns, much like a river carving a canyon, can gradually shape your reality with their persistent flow. However, it's essential to recognize the difference between forced, artificial change and genuine, internal transformation. The latter is born from a deep-rooted commitment to personal growth and an earnest desire to see your life reflect your highest ideals. This isn't about adopting someone else's thought patterns or emulating another's lifestyle. It's about developing your unique perspective, rooted in your values and aspirations. Indeed, change is a necessary process, yet it's also a deeply personal journey that demands your full commitment. Embrace it with an open mind and let the power of your thoughts guide you towards your desired reality. Resistance, that insidious adversary within, often rears its head when you're on the brink of change, challenging your consistency and commitment to personal transformation. It's a natural reaction, a defensive mechanism that protects you from the unknown. But remember, resistance isn't your enemy. It's a signal that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, which is where growth happens. To overcome resistance, you must first acknowledge it. Don't run from it or deny it, embrace it. Understand that it's a part of the process, a sign that you're pushing against your boundaries. Then, commit to following through, despite the discomfort. Consistency is key. It's the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Every day, choose to move towards your new reality, no matter how small the step. It's these small, consistent actions that build up over time, leading to significant change. In the journey of personal transformation, sustaining your progress over time is just as crucial as initiating the change. It's not just about making a decision or taking the first step, but it's about consistency and commitment, day after day, month after month, year after year. You see, transformation isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. It's about steadily reshaping your thoughts and actions, aligning them with your new reality. Yet that's where many stumble. The initial excitement wears off, the old habits creep back in, and the transformation process slows down or even stops. But here's the thing. Consistency, as key as it's to transformation, isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about commitment to the journey, even when the path gets tough. It's about embracing the ups and downs, the triumphs and failures, and still moving forward. Chapter 22. Integrating learned principles into daily life. To start with the process of embracing the power of positive thinking, you'll soon discover how integrating these learned principles into your daily life can transform your reality. The principle of you become what you think isn't an occasional magic trick, but a constant practice that needs to be woven into the fabric of your everyday life. But how do you make this shift? In the beginning, you've to commit to a mindset change. You've to train yourself to see the good in every situation, even when it's not immediately apparent. Remember, it's not about ignoring the negative, but focusing more on the positive. Next, it's important to practice mindfulness. Being present in the moment allows you to be more aware of your thoughts and their impact on your reality. It's the difference between letting your thoughts control you and you controlling your thoughts. Keeping a journal of your ideas is another useful tool you can use. Get into the habit of recording your thoughts daily. Over time, you'll notice patterns and triggers that you mightn't be aware of. Journaling allows you to objectively observe your thought processes and work on changing them if needed. Lastly, patience is key. Changing thought patterns doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that requires time, effort, and consistency. Celebrate small victories and don't get discouraged by temporary setbacks. Integrating these principles into your daily life might be challenging at first, but remember, every great journey begins with a single step. Take that step today, and you're one step closer to molding your reality with the power of your thoughts. Chapter 23. Achieving Work-Life Balance. Often you may find yourself struggling to strike a healthy work-life balance, especially when your thoughts are constantly clouded by work-related stress and anxiety. It's not uncommon. In fact, it's a widespread issue faced by millions. Yet, it's important to remember that your thoughts have the power to shape your reality. What if you could use this power to your advantage? Now imagine a scale. On one side, you have your work commitments, on the other, your personal life. The goal is to keep this scale balanced, right? But how can you achieve this when you're constantly bombarded with thoughts of looming deadlines, unfinished tasks, and mounting responsibilities? Here's where the power of your thoughts comes in. By consciously choosing to shift your focus from the negatives to the positives, you can start influencing the balance of your scale. Instead of worrying about unfinished tasks, think about the satisfaction you'll feel once they're completed. Instead of fretting over mounting responsibilities, consider them opportunities for personal growth. However, remember, it's not just about positive thinking. It's about making conscious changes in your lifestyle, setting clear boundaries, prioritizing your health, and committing to regular breaks. It's about understanding that it's okay to say no when you're feeling overwhelmed. Chapter 24. Sharing your transformative journey. Have you ever considered sharing your transformative journey as a powerful tool in your self-improvement process? Expressing your experiences openly, be it through writing, speaking, or any other form of communication, can profoundly impact your personal growth. It is a method for analyzing your ideas, recognizing patterns, and gaining a more profound comprehension of the ways in which your mind influences the world around you. The act of sharing isn't just about narrating your experiences. It's about analyzing your journey, recognizing your setbacks and achievements, and most importantly, acknowledging your growth. When you share, you're not seeking validation or approval. Instead, you're taking a step forward in embracing your experiences and understanding your thought process. While it might be intimidating at first, remember that vulnerability is a strength and not a weakness. Sharing your journey doesn't mean you have to divulge every detail of your life. It's about opening up on how your thoughts have shaped your reality and the transformation that has taken place. Your journey is unique, and it's worth sharing. You might be surprised at the insights you gain and the connections you make when you start to share your experiences. After all, every individual's journey is a powerful affirmation to the transformative power of thoughts. Don't let skepticism deter you. Yes, transforming your thoughts might seem challenging, but remember, it's a gradual journey, not an overnight flip. You've got the power to shape your reality, so why not harness it? Start small, be consistent, and celebrate your progress. Embrace the magic of your thoughts, your newfound self-love, and the supportive relationships around you. Your journey to becoming what you think begins now. Trust the
Thank you for listening on Audiowormofficial. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please like, comment, and share it with fellow book lovers. Make sure to subscribe for more classic literature and hit the bell icon for updates. Happy listening, and see you in the next one.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something pretty fascinating. The world of Ikigai.
Oh, I love this topic.
This Japanese concept that, well, it loosely translates to a reason for being.
Yeah.
And we'll be using the book Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life, as our guide.
Great book.
Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of dig into it.
Me too.
And hopefully uncover some secrets to living a longer and happier life.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating about Ikigai is it's not some mystical or far off concept. It's a very practical philosophy, Anyone can apply it to their lives.
That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book starts by introducing us to the Okinawans.
Okay.
Who are known for their incredibly long lifespans.
Mm-hmm.
So what's their secret sauce? What are they doing?
Well, right off the bat, the book talks about Ikigai as this Venn diagram.
Okay.
Where your passion, your mission, your profession, and vocation all kind of come together.
Yeah.
And the Okinawans seem to have really found that sweet spot. But it goes beyond just work.
Right.
They stay active throughout their lives and find purpose even in simple daily activities, the things that they do every day.
So it's not about striving for some grand unattainable goal.
Right.
It's more about finding meaning in the small everyday things that we all do.
Exactly, yeah. And for the Okinawans, it could be tending a garden.
Oh, nice.
Practicing traditional crafts.
Yeah.
Or spending time with their Moai.
Their what?
Moai, M-O-A-I.
Oh.
Which are these amazing social support groups that, contribute to their overall well-being.
We'll have to get into that a little bit later.
We will. We will definitely dive into that.
And of course, there's we can't talk about longevity without talking about food.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So we'll dive deeper into the Ikigai diet later.
Oh,
but
it's a good one.
Yeah, I'm intrigued for sure.
There are some delicious secrets for sure.
All right, let's move on to Chapter 2, Anti-Aging Secrets. Spill the beans. Is there a magical fountain of youth hidden in Okinawa?
Well, not a literal fountain, but the book really highlights the power of mental exercise.
Okay.
It quotes this neuroscientist, Shlomo Brzezinski, and he argues that our brains actually thrive on challenge and novelty, new things.
So are you saying that sticking to the same routine day in and day out is actually aging our brains faster?
Well, it's something to consider.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, he suggests that, breaking those routines and consistently kind of feeding our brains with new information.
Yeah.
It helps to revitalize those neural connections, keeps us, sharp and engaged.
Okay, that makes sense. But sometimes it's hard to break out of those ruts,
No.
Life gets busy.
Yeah.
We all get busy, and it's easy to, fall into that autopilot.
Yeah.
So, what are some practical ways that we can kind of, actively challenge our brains?
The book offers some great suggestions. Things like learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument,
right.
Or even just, doing mentally stimulating games, puzzles, things like that.
Right.
It doesn't have to be super complicated. The key is to just keep your mind active and curious.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about finding those things that spark our interest.
Yeah.
And keep us learning and growing, right?
Absolutely.
So could this tie back into this whole concept of Ikigai?
I think so, definitely.
Yeah.
Because, engaging in these mentally stimulating activities could be a way to pursue your passions,
Okay.
which, directly connects to finding your ikigai.
Oh, I see. That's cool.
So yeah, it's all connected.
So now chapter 3 takes us into from logotherapy to
Right.
ikigai.
Oh, this is a good one.
So this is like about meaning and purpose, right?
Exactly, yeah.
It introduces logotherapy, and this is a school of psychotherapy, right?
Yeah.
That's focused on finding meaning in life.
Right, even in the face of suffering.
Yeah, it's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
And it's especially powerful coming from the founder of logotherapy,
Yeah.
Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor.
His experiences just deeply shaped his beliefs.
Right.
And he argued that even in the darkest of times, humans have this freedom to choose their attitude and find meaning.
It's amazing.
It's really powerful, and I think it speaks to, the heart of ikigai as well.
So both logotherapy and ikigai,
Yeah.
they're kind of emphasizing the importance of having a sense of purpose, no matter what our circumstances are.
Exactly.
So I found this story in this chapter so interesting.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
It was about an American diplomat,
Okay.
and this guy was incredibly successful, but deeply unhappy.
Yeah.
And he actually sought out Viktor Frankl's help
Wow.
and realized that his career, although it was prestigious,
Yeah.
it wasn't aligned with his true purpose.
Wow.
And this misalignment was the root of his unhappiness.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that even external success doesn't guarantee happiness,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's not aligned with our core values and our passions.
Yeah. And the book really encourages us, through this story and in general, to examine our lives.
Yeah.
See if our actions are aligning with our values or aspirations. And
Yeah.
self-reflection, it's key to finding your ikigai.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 4
Yeah.
is all about flow.
Oh, love this.
I feel like this is a very well-known concept now.
Yeah.
But the book kind of takes a deeper dive into it, right?
Right. It describes flow as the state of complete absorption in an activity
Yeah.
where time seems to just melt away.
Right.
You're fully immersed in the present moment.
I've definitely experienced that before, like when I'm writing
Oh, of course.
or deeply engrossed in a good book.
Oh, yeah.
You just kind of lose track of everything else that's going on around you.
Those are perfect examples.
Yeah.
And the book actually goes into the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi.
Oh, say that again?
Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi.
Okay.
He's a prominent researcher on flow.
Right.
And he outlines these 7 conditions for achieving this state.
7 conditions.
Yeah, no, it sounds...
That sounds pretty complex.
It's a lot, but one of the key elements, I think, that's important to note
Okay.
is finding that sweet spot between challenge and skill.
Okay.
Because if a task is too easy, you
Yeah.
get bored.
Right.
But if it's too difficult, then you get frustrated and give up.
Right.
So finding that perfect balance is key to entering that flow state.
It's like pushing ourselves a little bit
Yeah.
outside of our comfort zone, but not too far.
Exactly.
So, but how do we do that, in everyday life?
Yeah.
How do we find that balance?
Well, the book offers some really practical tips.
Okay.
Things like setting clear objectives,
Okay.
minimizing distractions,
Right.
really focusing in and then choosing tasks that stretch our abilities without being completely out of reach.
Right.
So it's about intentionally structuring our activities to kind of foster that sense of flow.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Right.
It's not about passively waiting for these moments to happen.
No.
It's about actually creating the right conditions for it to happen.
Yeah, and the book also, highlights how this concept of flow manifests in Japanese culture through the stories of takumis. The kumis, Takumis.
Okay.
And these are master artisans who dedicate their lives to perfecting their craft.
Oh.
Think about those sushi chefs
Yeah.
who spend decades honing their skills.
Right.
They really embody this idea of flow.
Oh, that's such a cool way to illustrate it,
Yeah.
Because it's they're so focused, they're so dedicated to their craft, they lose themselves in the process.
And they're striving for excellence in every detail.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, that level of dedication is it's inspiring. And the book suggests that this dedication to craft, this pursuit of mastery, is a key contributor to their sense of ikigai and their overall well-being.
That's fascinating.
Right.
It makes me think about how even if our work isn't a traditional craft,
Right.
if we approach it with that level of intention, focus,
Yeah.
that could become a source of joy and fulfillment.
Absolutely. And even beyond our professions,
Right.
we can cultivate this flow state in our hobbies, everyday activities.
Okay.
The book refers to this as microflow.
Microflow.
So finding those moments of complete absorption, even in everyday tasks.
It's like a mindset shift.
It is.
It's a way of like finding these sparks of joy throughout our day.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But before we, take a break and come back,
Okay.
tell me what's next on our Ikigai journey.
Okay, well, in the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we'll be exploring the Okinawan concept of moai,
Okay.
these incredible social support groups.
All right, we touched on that a little bit before.
Yeah, we'll dive in a lot deeper.
Okay, awesome.
And how they play a crucial role in their longevity and happiness.
That's so cool.
We'll also delve into the Japanese practice of yumoru,
Okay.
which is all about mutual help and cooperation within the community.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder
Yeah.
that we're not meant to go through life alone,
Right.
and that cultivating those strong social bonds is so essential.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about finding our purpose and staying mentally sharp and even, tapping into that flow state.
Right.
But now I'm really excited to dive into Chapter 5, The Art of Rest.
Ooh, yeah.
Because, let's be real, we all need a little downtime.
We do.
So what can we learn from the Okinawans about, rest and relaxation?
Well, this chapter really highlights the importance of social connection.
Okay.
It introduces this concept of moai,
Right, yeah.
which are essentially social support groups that provide a sense of belonging, purpose, and shared responsibility.
It's like having your own, built-in squad.
Yeah.
Right? Like cheerleaders and confidants and, adventure buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
I mean, I know, in my own life, strong friendships, they make such a difference.
Of course, yeah.
There's just nothing quite like having people you can rely on, share life's ups and downs with.
Absolutely. And moai provide that kind of support system, for the Okinawans throughout their entire lives.
Wow.
They meet regularly, share meals, offer help when needed, celebrate each other's successes.
Like a safety net.
It is. It's woven into the fabric of their community.
Yeah, I can see how that would, contribute to their well-being and longevity.
Absolutely.
Feeling connected and supported, especially as we age.
Absolutely.
I think it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, and the book also describes another Japanese practice called yumaru. Yuimaru, which is all about mutual help and cooperation within the community.
Oh, cool.
It's recognizing that we're all interconnected and that supporting one another benefits everyone.
I love that sense of communal responsibility. It reminds me of that saying, it takes a village, right?
It
we really
does.
thrive when we help each other out.
Absolutely.
So speaking of inspiring individuals,
Yes.
let's move on to Chapter 6,
Okay.
Lessons from Japan's Centenarians.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
I love this.
So this chapter introduces us to some real-life wisdom keepers,
Okay.
people who have really cracked the code on longevity.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So what are some of the standout stories or insights from these centenarians?
Well, the book features a diverse range of individuals, from farmers and fishermen to artists and teachers.
Wow, okay.
Each person, has their own unique story
Right.
and perspective.
Yeah.
But there's some common threads that weave through all their experiences.
What kind of common threads? Well, things like resilience, optimism, a deep connection to nature, a sense of purpose, and of course, those strong social connections.
Yeah.
It's like they've each found their own unique ikigai
Right.
and built their lives around it.
It's not just about living a long life.
No,
It's about living a life that's full of purpose and joy.
that's inspiring.
Can we delve into some specific examples?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because I would love to hear about some of these incredible individuals.
Okay, so there's this woman named Ushi Okushima,
Okay.
and even at 104 years old, she was an active and passionate dancer.
Wow.
And when asked about her secret to longevity, she said, "I've never eaten meat in my life. I attribute it to that."
104 and still dancing.
I know, right?
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
It's a good reminder that even simple dietary choices could have a big impact on our health
Huge. Yeah.
and vitality.
Yeah. And then there's Jeanne Calment,
Okay.
the French woman who lived to be 122 years old.
122.
I know, right?
That's mind-blowing.
She was known for her zest for life, She rode her bicycle until she was 100
What?
and lived independently until 110.
No way.
I know, right? amazing.
I wonder what her outlook on life was like.
Yeah, well, she had a remarkable sense of humor and a positive attitude, even into her later years.
Yeah.
She famously said on her 120th birthday, "I see badly, I hear badly, and I feel bad, but everything's fine."
That's amazing.
Right.
That's such a powerful perspective.
It is.
It's like finding joy and making the best of things.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
No matter what life throws your way.
And so we've got Ushi and Jean.
Yeah.
Any man that we can talk about.
Oh, yeah, of course. There's Walter Bruning,
Okay.
an American who lived to be 114.
Okay.
And he emphasized the importance of staying active, both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
He said, if you keep your mind and body busy, you'll be around a long time.
Sounds like solid advice.
Yeah.
It's about staying engaged and continuing to challenge yourself, both mentally and physically.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. Yeah. These centenarians, despite all their different backgrounds,
Yeah.
they seem to share a common set of values and practices, that contribute to their long and happy lives.
Totally.
That's so inspiring.
And you know what? It's not just about grand gestures or extraordinary feats.
Yeah.
Many of them emphasize the importance of finding joy in simple things.
Right.
Appreciating the beauty of nature, the warmth of human connection,
Right.
the satisfaction of a day well spent.
It's about cultivating gratitude.
Yeah.
And savoring those everyday moments that that make life so rich and beautiful.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've heard about their secrets to longevity, but what about their diet?
Oh, yeah. Let's get into that.
I'm ready to dive into chapter 7, the Ikigai diet.
Okay.
Spill the beans. What are these Okinawans eating?
Okay, well, remember Ushi, the 104-year-old dancer.
Yeah.
She attributed her long life to a meat-free diet.
Okay.
And that's actually a key element of the Okinawan way of eating.
Okay.
It's a largely plant-based diet
Okay.
with an emphasis on fresh local ingredients.
So lots of fruits and vegetables and whole grains.
Exactly, yeah.
But do they ever treat themselves?
Of course, it's not about deprivation.
Okay.
It's about balance and moderation.
Okay.
They enjoy, traditional treats, sweets,
Yeah.
but they don't overdo it.
Okay.
They have this saying, hara hachibu,
Okay.
which means eating until you're 80% full.
The 80% rule.
Yeah, you've heard of it.
I heard of it.
Yeah.
But honestly, isn't it hard to stop eating when you're not quite full?
I think it is for, a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the Okinawans, they've been practicing this for generations. It's ingrained in their culture.
Right.
They eat slowly, they savor their food,
Yeah.
and they pay attention to their body's signals.
It's a more mindful approach.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it helps prevent overeating.
Right.
And promotes better digestion.
So it's shifting our focus from external cues,
Yes.
cleaning our plate,
Yeah,
to internal cues.
exactly. Those natural signals of fullness.
Yeah, it's a practice for sure,
It is.
but it seems like a valuable one.
It really is. And the book also goes into the science behind it,
Okay.
linking it to research on antioxidants
Oh, wow.
and their role in protecting against cell damage and aging.
So it's not just about feeling good.
Yeah.
It's about promoting cellular health
Yes.
and potentially even slowing down the aging process.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
Right.
It's a holistic approach to eating.
It is.
It nourishes both body and mind.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to incorporate some of these principles into my own diet.
Well, it's all about making small, sustainable changes.
Okay.
You don't have to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Start with, incorporating more plant-based foods,
All right.
practicing mindful eating, listening to those body cues.
I'm on board.
All right.
Now, what about exercise?
Okay.
Are we talking intense workouts?
No.
Marathon training?
No. Chapter 8, Gentle Movement, Longer Life, emphasizes the importance of incorporating movement into our daily lives
Okay.
in a sustainable and enjoyable way.
Okay.
It's not about, pushing yourself to the limit.
Right.
It's about finding ways to stay active and keep your body moving.
So more walking and stretching,
Yeah,
taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
exactly. Things like that.
I can definitely relate to that
Yeah,
because I sit at a desk for most of the day.
I know.
And I know I need to be more mindful about getting up and moving around.
It's so important.
What are some of the other suggestions from the book?
Well, they introduce, various Eastern practices
Okay.
that promote gentle movement and mindfulness. Things like yoga, qigong, tai chi, shiatsu.
Oh, I love all of those.
Right.
They're so beneficial.
They are.
It's not just about building strength and flexibility. It's also about like cultivating a sense of calmness and inner peace.
Exactly.
I think that's a key takeaway from this whole deep dive. It's not about striving for some unattainable ideal.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
And like building a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
I couldn't agree more.
It's about embracing your own unique path to longevity and happiness.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this section of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the importance of social connection, learned from the wisdom of centenarians, delved into the Ikigai diet.
We did.
And discovered like the beauty of gentle movement.
Yeah.
What's next on our journey?
Okay, well, in our final part,
Okay.
we'll be exploring the last few chapters, which delve into the concepts of resilience, wabi-sabi, and anti-fragility.
Those are some like powerful tools.
They are.
For navigating like life's challenges with grace and strength.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't wait to learn more about those concepts.
See, it's going to be fascinating.
And see how they tie into the bigger picture of Ikigai.
Yeah, we'll uncover how embracing imperfection, building resilience, and even like learning to thrive in the face of adversity can lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling life.
Okay, I'm really excited for the final part of our deep dive.
Oh, okay. So we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Ikigai. We've explored so many fascinating concepts: purpose, flow, social connection, diet, gentle movement. And I'm so curious to see how the book, wraps all of this up.
Yeah, you're in for a treat because the last few chapters string together a lot of what we've been discussing.
Okay.
And chapter 9, Resilience and Wabi-Sabi, is especially insightful. It starts by diving into the concept of resilience.
Okay.
Which is essentially our ability to kind of bounce back from challenges.
Resilience is definitely something we all need, especially, in today's world, but yeah, for sure.
It's easier said than done.
It is.
So how do we actually cultivate resilience?
Well, the book draws on both Buddhist and Stoic philosophies.
Oh, interesting.
Which I found really interesting.
Okay.
Both really emphasize recognizing what we can and cannot control.
Yeah.
And focusing our energy on what we can influence.
That makes sense. It's like choosing our battles.
Exactly.
Not wasting energy on things that we can't change.
Right. And the Stoics in particular, they practice something called negative visualization.
Okay, that sounds a bit counterintuitive.
I know, right?
Why would we want to visualize like negative things happening?
Well, it's not about dwelling on negativity or expecting the worst to happen.
Okay.
It's more about mentally preparing for potential setbacks.
Yep.
The book mentions Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher.
Yeah.
And he would imagine like worst case scenarios.
Okay.
And even like practice living without his comforts to kind of prepare himself for potential hardship.
So it's like a mental rehearsal for dealing with challenges.
Exactly.
I can see how that could be helpful.
Yeah.
Even if it feels a little strange at first.
Yeah, for sure. But it's about, building that mental and emotional muscle so we're less reactive and more adaptable when those challenges inevitably arise.
I tried this the other day, and I have to admit, it felt a little bit weird. But
it's definitely different.
Yeah. But I can see how it could be useful. It's like proactively building our capacity to cope.
Exactly.
Okay, so alongside resilience,
Yeah.
this chapter also explores the concept of wabi-sabi.
Oh, I love wabi-sabi.
Which is this Japanese aesthetic philosophy
right.
that values simplicity, imperfection, and impermanence.
Yeah, it's a beautiful concept.
I've heard the term before, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Yeah, so think about like a cracked teacup that's been beautifully repaired with gold.
Okay.
Or like a weathered wooden beam that shows the passage of time.
Okay.
Wabi-sabi is about finding beauty in those imperfections, in the natural kind of wear and tear of life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's a real shift in perspective.
It's like seeing the beauty in things that might be considered like flawed by conventional standards.
Right, exactly.
But it's about appreciating like the unique character and history that they reveal.
Yeah, and it ties into the concept of ichigo ichie,
Okay.
which translates to this moment exists only now and won't come again.
Oh, wow.
It's a reminder to cherish each encounter, each experience as something precious and unique.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It encourages us to like be fully present.
Yeah.
And savor each moment.
And, if we connect this back to Ikigai,
Yeah.
it's about approaching our purpose with that same sense of presence and appreciation.
Okay.
Each day becomes an opportunity to kind of express our Ikigai in a unique and meaningful way.
So it's not just about achieving some, like, distant goal.
Right.
It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the journey.
You got it, yeah.
Okay, so we've covered resilience, we've talked about wabi-sabi.
Yeah,
And now I think chapter 10 takes things a step further
it does, yeah.
by introducing this concept of anti-fragility.
Oh, this one's my favorite.
Anti-fragility.
I know, right?
That's a new one for me.
It's a really interesting concept.
What's that all about?
Okay, so it's based on the work of Nassim Nicholas Taleb.
Okay.
And he argues that some things don't just withstand, like, shocks and stress.
Yeah.
They actually get stronger because of them.
Really?
Yeah. He uses the example of the Hydra from Greek mythology.
Okay, I remember that from,
Yeah.
like, school, but remind me.
Yeah, so this multi-headed serpent, and for every head that was cut off, it would grow 2 more.
Wow.
Right. So that's, like, the ultimate image of anti-fragility.
So how does this apply to us?
Okay, well, the book outlines 3 key steps.
Okay.
The first is to create redundancies. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
You know, diversify your income streams, your social networks, your skills.
It's like spreading out our risk.
It is, yeah, create that safety net.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
The second is to bet conservatively in certain areas of your life,
Okay.
but take calculated risks in others.
So finding that balance between stability and growth.
Exactly. You have a stable foundation,
Right.
but allow yourself to explore, experiment.
Yeah, okay.
And the third step is to get rid of things that make you fragile.
Oh, okay.
So those people, those habits or possessions that drain your energy or hold you back.
It's like decluttering our lives.
It is, yeah.
Both physically and emotionally.
Exactly. Create space for things that truly matter and let go of what weighs you down.
I love this concept.
It's empowering, right?
Yeah, it's like we're taking ownership of our lives.
Exactly. And, you know, anti-fragility is all about proactively building that resilience, that adaptability.
Okay, so we've covered resilience, wabi-sabi, anti-fragility.
I know, this has been a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but it's so good.
It is.
So I'm ready for the grand finale.
Okay.
How does the book wrap up this incredible journey?
Okay, so the epilogue beautifully kind of reflects on this interconnectedness of purpose, passion, flow, longevity.
It's all connected.
It is, you know. They're not separate concepts. They're interwoven. They're all part of this tapestry of a meaningful life.
That makes so much sense.
Right.
It all kind of comes full circle.
And then the book offers these 10 rules for finding your ikigai.
10 rules. Okay, I'm taking notes. What are they?
They're all about, you know, building a life that's aligned with your purpose and your values, you know. Some of the key ones that stood out to me were stay active, don't retire,
Okay.
leave urgency behind, you know. Embrace a slower pace of life.
Okay.
Don't fill your stomach. Remember that 80% rule.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good friends. Get in shape for your next birthday. Smile. Cultivate that optimistic outlook. Reconnect with nature. Give thanks. Live in the moment. And of course, follow your ikigai.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack, but it's also powerful.
It is, right? It's like a blueprint
Yeah.
for living a longer, happier, more fulfilling life.
It is.
And the book ends with a beautiful quote from the Japanese calligrapher Mitsuo Aida.
Okay.
He said, "Happiness is always determined by your heart."
That's such a powerful reminder, you know? Happiness isn't something we find outside of ourselves.
No,
It's a choice we make.
it is.
It's a perspective we cultivate.
And as we wrap up our deep dive, I'd like to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What if the pursuit of longevity isn't just about adding years to our lives, but about adding life to our years?
I love that.
What activities truly make you feel alive? What's your ikigai?
That's such a great question, and I think it's one we all need to be asking ourselves.
Yeah,
This deep dive has been an incredible journey.
it has.
I feel so inspired to, keep exploring this concept of ikigai and apply these principles to my own life.
Well, it's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Likewise.
And remember, the journey of ikigai, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
It's about continuous exploration, growth, refinement, embracing imperfection, building resilience, and finding joy in those everyday moments.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your expertise. This has been a truly enlightening conversation.
Thank you for having me.
And everyone listening, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of ikigai. Now go out there and find your reason for being.
Rebuild yourself. Let your focus be on you every day. Written by Justice O. Malcolm. Introduction. In a world brimming with endless distractions and demands, the most revolutionary act you can commit is to focus on yourself. Rebuild yourself. Let your focus be on you every day is not just a call to self-improvement, it's a manifesto for a profound personal revolution. Imagine embarking on an architectural project where the site is your own life and the blueprint is your deepest desires and aspirations. This book is both your guide and your toolkit for reconstructing a life that aligns perfectly with your authentic self. With every page turned, you will be laying down a new foundation, erecting stronger pillars of self-esteem, and designing spaces in your life that bring joy and purpose. Why is focusing on yourself so crucial? Because the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. When you're not aligned internally, every external challenge becomes harder to navigate. This book offers a step-by-step approach to help you cultivate a daily practice of self-focus that will strengthen your internal alignment and enhance your ability to engage with the world around you. Each chapter of Rebuild Yourself is dedicated to unlocking another aspect of yourself that deserves attention, from refining your mental health and bolstering your emotional resilience to prioritizing your physical well-being and nurturing your spiritual growth. This comprehensive approach ensures that no part of your being is neglected in your journey to self-rediscovery. Drawing on a combination of scientific research, psychological theory, and real-life testimonials, this book provides both the insights and the practical tools needed to maintain a steadfast focus on yourself. You will learn how to break free from the clutter of societal expectations and personal insecurities to uncover and cultivate your true potential. Rebuild Yourself is more than just a self-help book. It is a lifelong companion in your journey towards self-fulfillment and happiness. Prepare to transform your life, one focused day at a time. Let's begin this vital work of rebuilding, not for anyone else, but for you. So you're on a quest to rebuild yourself, to focus on you every day. It's a journey filled with self-discovery, personal growth, wellness, and meaningful relationships, isn't it? But where do you start? Envision this scenario: you wake up each morning with a purpose, clarity of mind, and an unwavering commitment to your well-being. You're actively cultivating self-awareness, setting achievable goals, and building resilience to life's ups and downs. Does it sound intriguing? There's more. Join us as we unpack this transformative process, guiding you step by step on your path to becoming the best version of yourself. For more information about the ebook version of this audio, check the video description or visit audiobooksoffice.com. We noticed that 69% of you who listen to our video are not yet subscribed to the channel. Please help support the channel by hitting the subscribe button and liking the video. Thanks for inspiring us to create more content for you. Chapter 1. Rediscover your passions. In the journey of self-rebuilding, it's vital to rediscover your passions. They're the fire that lights your path, the spark that ignites your ambition, and the driving force that propels you forward. They give you a sense of purpose, a reason to get up in the morning, and a mission to contribute to the world. Now, you may ask, how do I rediscover my passions? Don't worry, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. Start by thinking back to what you loved doing as a child, what made you lose track of time, what you couldn't stop talking about. Often, your childhood interests are a clue to what you're naturally drawn to. Next, pay attention to what excites you in the present. What topics do you find yourself drawn to? What activities make your heart race with excitement? These are often indicators of your underlying passions. Remember, it's okay if your passions have changed over time. It's a part of life. What matters is that you're honest with yourself about what truly interests you now. Don't let societal expectations or pressure from others sway you. This is your journey, your life, and ultimately your happiness. Finally, don't be afraid to explore new interests. Life is an ongoing journey of discovery and self-growth. You never know what new passion might be waiting just around the corner. Rediscovering your passions is a pivotal step in self-rebuilding. They'll guide you, motivate you, and fuel your desire to build a life that's authentically yours. Chapter 2. Cultivate self-awareness. Unearthing your true self begins with cultivating self-awareness. It's like opening a book that's all about you. Every page, every word reflects who you are, what you feel, and how you react. It's a journey inward, an exploration of your deepest crevices, your strengths, your weaknesses, your dreams, and your fears. To cultivate self-awareness, you've got to be brutally honest with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and see beyond the physical. What your values, what motivates you, what triggers your emotions. No one knows you better than you do. So be your own detective. Pursue the truth of your being. Listen to your internal dialogue. Is it positive or negative? Does it uplift you or pull you down? Your thoughts shape your reality. If they're not serving you, it's time to change the narrative. You have the power to control your thoughts, to choose positivity over negativity, to choose self-love over self-doubt. Remember, cultivating self-awareness isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous process, a lifelong journey. Be patient with yourself. Don't rush. Don't force. Let the process be organic. Every day you'll discover a new thing about yourself. Every day you'll grow, you'll evolve. And the more you know yourself, the better you'll understand others. Self-awareness isn't just about self-improvement. It's also about building better relationships, making better decisions, and living a better life. Truly, self-awareness is the key to self-rebuild. So start today. Cultivate self-awareness. Unearth your true self. Chapter 3. Prioritize your well-being. As you cultivate self-awareness and begin to understand yourself better, it's equally important to prioritize your well-being. It's not enough just to know who you are, you must also take care of that person. You're your most essential asset, and it's pivotal that you treat yourself with the same care and consideration you'd give to someone you deeply love. Prioritizing your well-being doesn't mean you're being selfish or neglecting your responsibilities. It's about creating a balance between your physical, mental, and emotional health. It's about putting yourself first so you can be there for others. When you're at your best, you can give your best to the world around you. Start by listening to your body and honoring its needs. If you're tired, rest. If you're hungry, eat nourishing food. If you're stressed, find ways to relax. Your body constantly communicates with you, and it's your responsibility to listen and respond. Also, pay attention to your emotions. Don't suppress them, acknowledge them, and seek to understand what they're trying to tell you. It's okay to be sad, angry, or afraid. These feelings don't define you, but ignoring them can have negative impacts on your well-being. Chapter 4. Develop healthy habits. Building healthy habits might seem intimidating, but remember, it's not about making huge, immediate changes. It's about taking small, manageable steps that gradually lead you towards a healthier lifestyle. You don't have to overhaul your entire life in one day. Instead, start by identifying 1 or 2 habits that you'd like to develop. Consider your daily routine. Is there something you'd like to change? Maybe you want to get more sleep, eat healthier, or exercise more regularly. Whatever it is, pinpoint it and then create a plan to make it happen. Be specific about what you want to achieve and how you'll do it. Instead of saying I'll eat healthier, say I'll replace my afternoon snack with a piece of fruit. Remember, consistency is key. It's better to stick with a small change consistently than to try a big change and give up. It might be challenging in the beginning, but over time, these new habits will become second nature. Not only will you start to feel physically better, but your mental and emotional health will also benefit. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Developing healthy habits takes time and there will be setbacks, but don't let that discourage you. Instead, see it as a learning opportunity. Each time you stumble, you're learning what works and what doesn't. Keep going, keep trying, and soon enough those healthy habits will be a regular part of your life. You're worth the effort, so keep focusing on you every day. Chapter 5. Embrace personal growth. Have you ever wondered about the potential that lies within you? It's vast, uncharted, and waiting to be discovered. Embracing personal growth is the key to tapping into this potential. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone and daring to explore new territories of self-discovery. Remember, it's not always going to be smooth sailing, but that's what makes the journey worth it. Start by acknowledging that you're a work in progress. It's all right to not have all the answers right now. Life's a journey of learning and evolving. Allow yourself the grace to make mistakes. They're stepping stones to your growth, not symbols of failure. Next, cultivate a growth mindset. Believe in your ability to learn, to adapt, to rise above challenges. There's no such thing as a setback, only a setup for a comeback. You're stronger than you think, and each hurdle is an opportunity to prove it to yourself. Then, set personal goals. They're your roadmap, guiding you towards becoming a better version of yourself. Don't be afraid to dream big. You're capable of so much more than you realize. Lastly, embrace change. It's inevitable and the only constant in life. Instead of resisting, treat it as an exciting adventure, a chance to learn something new, process of becoming the best version of you. It's about celebrating your progress, no matter how small. You're on a path of self-discovery, and each step you take brings you closer to realizing your full potential. Chapter 6. Reflect on your values. 5 core values. Those are what you need to identify and reflect on as you rebuild yourself. You're probably wondering, what exactly are these values? They're the principles that drive your behavior, influence your actions, and shape your personal identity. Think about it. When you face a pivotal decision, what do you consider? It's your values, isn't it? They're your inner compass, guiding you through the winding paths of life. They're your soul's anchor, holding you steady in the stormy seas of uncertainty. Now, you may ask, how do I discover these values? The answer is simple: reflection. Take a step back and observe your life. Look at your actions, your decisions, your highs, your lows. What are the recurring themes? What are the constants? These are your values. They could be anything from honesty to courage, compassion to perseverance, loyalty to creativity. Once you've identified your values, embrace them. They're your essence, your very being. Don't be ashamed of them, even if they seem different or unconventional. Remember, it's you we're talking about, unique, special you. There's no right or wrong here. Your values are a reflection of you, not society. Reflecting on your values isn't just about knowing who you are. It's about loving who you are and respecting who you could become. It's a journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-improvement. So, my friend, take that journey. Reflect, discover, love, improve, because you're worth it. Chapter 7. Set achievable goals. Now that you've identified and embraced your core values, it's time to use them as your foundation to set achievable goals. This isn't about setting grandiose, unattainable dreams. It's about building a realistic path forward, one that aligns with your values and leads you to a life you're proud of. Don't view goals as massive, intimidating mountains. Instead, see them as stepping stones on your path to personal growth. Break down your aspirations into manageable, achievable objectives. Remember, you're not in a race. The journey of self-improvement is a marathon, not a sprint, and every step forward is a victory worth celebrating. Setting achievable goals is about balance. Aim high, but stay grounded. Dream big, but remain practical. It's about underself further. You've got the potential to reach heights you've never dreamt of, but it starts with taking that first stumble, and that's okay. Failure isn't a sign of weakness, but a stepping stone to strength. Every misstep is a lesson learned, a tool to better equip you for your journey ahead. Be patient with yourself, but also be persistent. Keep your eyes on the prize, but don't forget to appreciate the journey. Chapter 8. Practice self-care routines. Embracing self-care routines is a pivotal step in rebuilding yourself. It's not just about pampering yourself with a spa day or indulging in your favorite dessert. It's more profound and essential than that. Self-care is about nourishing your mind, body, and soul every single day. Think of yourself as a garden. You need sunlight, water, and nutrients to grow and flourish. Just as a garden needs daily care, you too need regular nurturing. Your body needs exercise, nutritious food, and rest. Your mind needs stimulation, peace, and clarity. Your soul needs love, joy, and purpose. That's what self-care is all about. Create a daily routine that caters to your needs. It could be as simple as a morning jog to boost your energy or a quiet meditation session to clear your mind. You could read a book to feed your intellect or listen to music to soothe your soul. The key is consistency. Make these activities a part of your everyday life. Remember, it's okay to prioritize yourself. In fact, it's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to refill yourself first before you can give to others. So, don't feel guilty about taking time for yourself. You're not being selfish, you're being wise. Chapter 9. Foster meaningful relationships. While you're working on caring for yourself, it's also important to foster meaningful relationships with others. In the hustle of life, we often neglect the connections that make our journey worthwhile. So, take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Are they reflecting your journey of self-improvement? If not, it's time to reevaluate. Building strong relationships isn't about quantity, but the quality of connections you maintain. You don't need hundreds of friends on social media, but a few close bonds that truly understand and support you. It's about building bridges, not walls. Remember, it's okay to let go of relationships that drain you. It's not selfish, it's self-care. You're allowed to choose who gets to be a part of your life. Surround yourself with positivity, with people who inspire you, make you laugh, and help you when you fall. These are the connections that refuel your spirit and help you grow as an individual. Nurture these relationships. Engage in honest conversations. Share your dreams and fears. Listen and show empathy. It's these little things that strengthen the bond. Love and respect are two-way streets, so confirm you're giving as much as you're receiving. In the end, meaningful relationships enrich our lives and contribute profoundly to our journey of self-improvement. They help us see life from different perspectives, teaching us empathy, patience, and love. Remember, while you're rebuilding yourself, don't forget to build bridges with others. It's the connections we make that truly define us. Chapter 10. Unlock your creative potential. Every single day holds a wealth of creative potential that's just waiting to be tapped into. You're a powerhouse of ideas, a generator of innovation, filled with the capacity to create something out of nothing. All you need to do is tap into it. Start by finding your passion. What makes your heart race? What ideas keep you awake at night? These are the things that will fuel your creative spirit. Once you've found your passion, don't let it sit idle. Use it. Nurture it. Let it drive your every action. Next, surround yourself with inspiration. It can be books, art, nature, people, or even silence. Creativity thrives in an environment that's rich with stimuli. Absorb everything around you, let your senses soak it all in, and then let your imagination run wild. Remember, creativity isn't just about being artistic. It's about finding new ways to solve problems, seeing the world from a different perspective, and challenging the status quo. It's about breaking free from the constraints of conventional thinking and daring to explore the uncharted territories of your mind. Finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Creativity is a process of trial and error. Every failure is a stepping stone on your path to success. It's a lesson learned, a new insight gained. So, embrace your mistakes, learn from them, and let them guide you towards your creative peak. Tapping into your creative potential is an exciting journey. Start today and discover a whole new world within you. Chapter 11. Overcome limiting beliefs. Releasing your creative potential can sometimes hit a roadblock in the form of self-imposed limiting beliefs. You may not even realize you're carrying these hindrances around. They're the whispers in your mind telling you that you're not good enough, that you're bound to fail, that there's no point in even trying. Let's challenge these beliefs together. First, recognize that these limiting beliefs aren't facts, but rather perceptions shaped by past experiences. They're not the ultimate truth about your potential or capabilities. You've got to challenge them, question them, and ultimately, let them go. It's not easy, but it's essential for your growth. Second, acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes and fails at times. It's a part of the learning process and a stepping stone to your success. Embrace your failures, learn from them, and use them as fuel to propel you forward. Don't let them define you or limit your potential. Finally, replace your negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Instead of telling yourself, "I can't," say, "I can," and I will. Visualize your success and let it drive you towards your goals. Believe in your abilities and don't let anyone, including yourself, tell you otherwise. Chapter 12. Manage stress effectively. You've tackled limiting beliefs. Now let's take on another critical aspect of personal growth: effectively managing stress. Stress is like a stealthy intruder, creeping into your life, wreaking havoc on your body, and clouding your mind. But remember, you have the power to control it. First, identify the sources of your stress. They're not always obvious, and it's all too easy to overlook your own stress-inducing thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Once you've pinpointed these stressors, you can start working towards managing them. Exercise is a fantastic way to combat stress. It may seem contradictory, but putting physical stress on your body through exercise can relieve mental stress. The benefits are strongest when you exercise regularly. You don't have to be a fitness fanatic, just get moving, whether it's walking the dog, dancing in your living room, or hitting the gym. Next, focus on your diet. What we put in our bodies profoundly impacts how we feel. Consuming a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains can help you feel better overall and cope with stress more effectively. Finally, practice mindfulness. This could be through meditation, yoga, or just spending a quiet moment with yourself. Mindfulness helps to anchor you in the present moment, steering your mind away from stressful thoughts. Chapter 13. Build emotional intelligence. Traversing the landscape of your emotions, building emotional intelligence is a fundamental step towards personal growth. It's about recognizing and understanding your feelings, as well as those of others. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is your ability to manage and use your emotions in positive and constructive ways. It's not just about being in touch with your feelings, but understanding how emotions can influence your thoughts and actions. Start by becoming more aware of your emotions. As you go through your day, pay attention to the emotions you experience and how they're connected to your thoughts and actions. When you're frustrated, what's really going on? When you're elated, why? This isn't about judging your feelings, but understanding them. Next, practice emotional regulation. It's easy to react impulsively when strong emotions hit. But with practice, you can learn to manage your emotional responses and react in more controlled, beneficial ways. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather acknowledging them, and then deciding how best to respond. Lastly, cultivate empathy. Understanding your own emotions can help you better understand others. Empathy isn't just feeling for others, but with them. It's about stepping into their shoes and seeing the world from their perspective. Chapter 14. Celebrate small victories. As you build your emotional intelligence, remember to pause and acknowledge your progress. Celebrating small victories isn't about self-indulgence. It's about self-recognition and self-appreciation. Every step forward, however small, is a badge of honor to your determination, resilience, and growth. Think about it. Each day you're making decisions, overcoming challenges, and charting a course through life's ups and downs. That's no small feat. So, when you achieve something, no matter how small it might seem, don't let it go unnoticed. You've earned it. You've worked hard, and that deserves recognition. Now, you might wonder, why should I celebrate small victories when there are bigger goals to achieve? Remember, it's the little wins that pave the way for the bigger ones. They boost your confidence, keep you motivated, and remind you of your potential. So celebrate every milestone, every hurdle crossed, every improvement, however minuscule it might seem. Perhaps you finally managed to wake up early today, or you managed to stay calm in a stressful situation. Maybe you achieved a minor goal at work, or even completed a small house chore you've been putting off. Each of these are victories in their own right, and they deserve to be celebrated. Chapter 15. Embrace lifelong learning. In the vast landscape of life, every day presents a new opportunity to learn and grow. You're never too old, too experienced, or too knowledgeable to discover something new. So, embrace lifelong learning. It's not just about acquiring new skills or knowledge, but also about fostering a mindset of curiosity and openness. Remember, learning isn't restricted to formal education. It can be as simple as reading a new book, exploring a new place, or even engaging in a thought-provoking conversation. It's about expanding your horizons, challenging your preconceptions, and enriching your understanding of the world. Now, you might be thinking, I'm busy. I've got a lot on my plate already, and that's understandable. But here's the thing, lifelong learning doesn't necessarily require a massive time commitment. You can start small. Dedicate a few minutes each day to something new. Listen to a podcast during your commute. Read an article during lunch. Watch a TED Talk before bed. But what's most important is your attitude. Approach every day with the mindset of a learner. Be open to new ideas. Be curious. Ask questions. Never stop growing. Never stop evolving. Chapter 16. Nurture your inner strength. Forge ahead with the might of your inner strength. It's the unyielding force within you that fuels your determination, resilience, and self-belief. It's not about physical power. Instead, it's that quiet, persistent voice urging you to rise every time you fall. It's about recognizing your inherent worth and believing in your potential. It's your inner strength, and it's time you give it the nurture it deserves. Start by acknowledging your strengths. Often you're so engrossed in working on your weaknesses that you forget to appreciate what you're already good at. You're talented, unique, and have overcome obstacles that attest to your strength. So don't be shy about applauding yourself. It's not arrogance, it's self-recognition. Next, build resilience. Life's not always smooth sailing, and it's your inner strength that'll help you weather the storm. Be patient with yourself. Understand that failure is a stepping stone to success, and maintain an optimistic outlook. Remember, resilience isn't about avoiding stress but learning to thrive within it. Lastly, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself the way you'd treat a dear friend. Replace self-criticism with self-acceptance. Understand that it's okay to not be perfect. You're a work in progress, and that's perfectly fine. Nurturing your inner strength is a journey, not a destination. It's a continuous process of self-discovery, self-growth, and self-love. Chapter 17. Improve work-life balance. Balancing work and personal life is another powerful step towards rebuilding yourself. It's not just about clocking hours at work and then rushing home to manage personal responsibilities. It's about creating harmony between the two, ensuring neither side is neglected. Imagine work and life as two sides of the same coin, each equally important. You can't have a full coin with only one side, can you? The same goes for your work-life balance. Pursue to give them equal importance and watch your productivity and fulfillment soar. Consider setting boundaries. You've got to know when to switch off your work mode and step into your personal space. It's okay to say no to after-hours work emails. It's okay to keep your weekends free for family and self-care. Remember, you're more than your job. Take time to unwind. Your mind and body need rest to function at their best. Whether it's a quick walk during lunch break, a relaxing yoga session after work, or simply reading your favorite book on a quiet evening, find what helps you relax. Remember, your worth isn't determined by how long you work or how much you achieve. It's about who you are as a person, how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. Improving your work-life balance isn't an overnight task. It's a journey, it's a process. It requires patience, persistence, and self-love. But once you master it, you'll find a newfound sense of happiness and fulfillment that will leave you feeling empowered and refreshed. You'll be one step closer to rebuilding yourself, focusing on you every day. Chapter 18. Discover your purpose. Finding your purpose in life might seem like a formidable task, but it's an essential part of rebuilding yourself. Think of it as a compass guiding you towards fulfillment and happiness. You may feel a bit lost now, but that's okay. It's all part of the journey. Start by asking yourself, what really matters to me? Your purpose isn't about what you do, it's about who you are. It's what makes you excited, what gets you out of bed each morning. It's what you do even if you didn't get paid for it. And don't rush it, good things take time. Next, try to look beyond yourself. Purpose often comes from serving others. What problems in the world do you wish to solve? What cause are you passionate about? Your purpose can be as grand as changing the world or as simple as making someone's day brighter. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about you. Finally, remember that your purpose can evolve. As you grow and change, so will your purpose. It's not a fixed point, but a direction. So, don't worry if you don't have it all figured out. The important thing is to start. Discovering your purpose is an introspective journey that will bring you closer to your true self. Embrace it, and let it guide you in this exciting process of self-rebuilding. Remember, the most important relationship in life is the one you have with yourself. Keep nurturing it, and you'll find your purpose along the way. Chapter 19. Enhance mental clarity. Having a clear sense of purpose is only the first step towards rebuilding yourself. Now, it's time to enhance your mental clarity. This might sound intimidating, but don't be discouraged. You've got this. Imagine your mind as a lake. When the water is calm, you can see right to the bottom. But when it's turbulent, everything becomes distorted. Your thoughts are like that lake. When they're calm, you can think clearly, make better decisions, and focus on your purpose. But when they're chaotic, everything becomes unclear. So how do you calm this lake? Start by eliminating unnecessary distractions. Turn off your phone, clear your workspace. Do whatever it takes to create a peaceful environment. You'll be surprised at how much easier it's to think clearly when you're not constantly being interrupted. Next, practice mindfulness. This doesn't necessarily mean meditating for hours on end, although that can certainly help. It just means being present in the moment, paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment. This can help you identify negative thought patterns and replace them with more positive ones. Finally, take care of your physical health. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate sleep can all contribute to mental clarity. You can't expect your mind to function at its best if your body isn't in peak condition. Chapter 20. Develop resilient strategies. Let's face it, life will throw curveballs at you. It's not about avoiding them, but learning how to hit them out of the park. That's where resilience comes in. It's your secret weapon in handling life's unexpected twists and turns. But how do you build resilience, you ask? Firstly, practice optimism. Yes, practice. It's not about being naive or living in denial. It's about choosing to see opportunities amidst obstacles. It's a shift in perspective that you'll need to consciously cultivate. It's tough, but remember, you're tougher. Secondly, keep things in perspective. Life's difficulties can often feel overwhelming. But remember, this too shall pass. Learn to differentiate between a bad day and a bad life. Your circumstances don't define you, your reaction to them does. Thirdly, create a support network. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not pull you down. Reach out, connect, share your struggles. You're not alone. Your tribe can be your greatest strength. Lastly, take care of yourself. It sounds simple, yet it's often overlooked. Exercise, eat well, get enough sleep. Take time for yourself. Do what you love. Prioritize your well-being, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Building resilience is a journey, not a destination. It's a constant process of learning, growing, and becoming stronger. You've got this. You're on your way to rebuilding yourself, one step at a time. Chapter 21. Foster self-acceptance. While resilience is your shield against the world's challenges, self-acceptance is the foundation on which you build your inner strength. It's the quiet assurance that you're enough, just as you are. Embrace your flaws, appreciate your uniqueness, and celebrate your victories, however small. No one's perfect, and that's perfectly okay. Self-acceptance isn't about complacency, though. It's about acknowledging where you're now, so you can chart a path to where you want to be. It's about understanding that your worth isn't tied to your achievements, mistakes, or the opinions of others. You're valuable simply because you exist. Start by forgiving yourself for past mistakes. They're lessons, not life sentences. Then, replace negative self-talk with affirming words. When you stumble upon a weakness, don't beat yourself up. Instead, see it as an area for growth. Remember, comparison is a thief of joy. You're not in competition with anyone. Each person's journey is unique, and so is yours. Celebrate your progress, no matter how slow or small. Each step forward is a victory. Finally, surround yourself with positivity. People who support and uplift you. Read books that inspire you. Listen to music that makes you happy. Cultivate an environment that nourishes your soul. Fostering self-acceptance is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, and that's okay. You're a work in progress, and each day you're becoming a better version of yourself. So be patient with yourself, believe in your worth, and remember you're enough, just as you are. Chapter 22. Unlock your full potential. Amid the journey of self-acceptance, there lies a hidden treasure waiting to be unearthed: your full potential. It's not about becoming someone new, but rather peeling back the layers of doubt and fear to reveal the extraordinary person you've always been. Take a step back and ask yourself, what am I capable of? Don't be shy. This isn't the time to downplay your abilities. It's time to recognize and embrace them. You've got strengths you've never even thought to tap into. So challenge yourself. Set goals that scare you a little. Why? Because they'll push you to grow. Remember, it's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall. What's not okay is staying down. You're stronger than any obstacle that stands in your way. You've got this. Every failure is just another stepping stone on the path to success. Don't let setbacks discourage you, let them drive you. Unlocking your full potential is a journey, not a destination. It's about constant learning and growth. It's about pushing past your limits and discovering how much more you can achieve. But most importantly, it's about believing in yourself. You've got the power to do incredible things. So, take the reins, steer your life in the direction you want it to go, and watch as you surprise even yourself with what you're capable of. Chapter 23. Cultivate gratitude. Life's journey is often filled with trials and tribulations, but amidst it all, gratitude remains a powerful tool in your self-improvement arsenal. You might wonder why its simple gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing in your life to the abundance that's already present. It's about appreciating what you have right now, and this can be a life-changing perspective. Start with small steps. Each morning before you rush into your day, take a moment to appreciate the simple things in life. The warmth of the sun, the taste of your coffee, or the comfort of your bed. These seemingly small things can fill your heart with joy, and that's the power of gratitude. Make it a daily routine to write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be anything: the kindness of a stranger, the love of your family, or the progress you're making in your journey. This practice not only cultivates a positive mindset but also makes you more resilient in the face of adversity. But remember, cultivating gratitude isn't about ignoring or masking your problems. It's about finding rays of hope and positivity in the middle of chaos. It's about acknowledging the good in your life and letting it empower you to face your challenges head-on. There's always something to be grateful for. You just have to look for it. So start today. Start now. Cultivate gratitude and watch how it transforms your life, your outlook, and your journey to self-improvement. Chapter 24. Embrace change with courage. Change, like a wave, is inevitable and constant. It's a fundamental part of life that you can't avoid, no matter how hard you try. But here's the thing: you don't have to fear change. Instead, you can learn to embrace it with courage and grace. Think of change as a chance for growth, a pathway to a new beginning. You're not losing something, you're gaining an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. It won't be easy, but you've got this. Remember, you're stronger and more resilient than you think you are. It's natural to feel apprehensive, even scared, when facing change. That's okay. Those feelings are valid. But don't let them paralyze you. Instead, use them as fuel to push through and face the unknown. It's in these moments of uncertainty that you'll discover your true strength. When change comes knocking, don't hide away. Stand tall, look it in the eye, and welcome it with open arms. It's a new adventure, a chance to learn and grow, to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Embrace it. Let it mold you, let it shape you, let it redefine who you are. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, not a destination. So take it one step at a time, breathe, and trust in the process. You're on your way to becoming the best version of you, and that's something to be proud of. Embrace change with courage, and you'll find that it's not as scary as it seems. Chapter 25. Unlock your authentic self. Revealing your authentic self is the key to rebuilding yourself. It's about identifying your core values, embracing your imperfections, trusting your journey, building self-confidence, and harnessing the power of positive thinking. Let's explore together how these elements can transform your life and guide you towards a more genuine, fulfilled, and happier self. Dive deep into the essence of who you are by identifying your personal core values. These values are your compass, guiding you towards your true north. They shape the way you see the world, influence your decisions, and define your actions. So how can you uncover these guiding principles? Start by reflecting on your life's highlights. What moments make you feel truly alive? Jot them down. Now, identify the values inherent in these moments. Was it integrity, adventure, compassion? Next, prioritize. You can't stand for everything, so choose what matters most. Which values are non-negotiable? Which ones make your soul ignite with passion? Remember, there's no right or wrong here. It's about authenticity. It's about you. Finally, align your actions with these values. Live them, breathe them. They're not just words, they're your life's blueprint. When challenges arise, they'll be your rock. It's a journey, but you're not alone in this. Be patient, be kind to yourself. You're diving deep, unearthing your authentic self. And trust me, it's worth every step. Embracing your imperfections isn't about celebrating flaws, it's about accepting your whole, authentic self. It's about understanding that you're a masterpiece in progress, with every knot, crack, and rough edge adding to your unique beauty. You don't need to be perfect to be exceptional. Remember, even the moon has its dark spots, yet it still shines brilliantly in the darkness. Your imperfections are part of what makes you unique, what sets you apart in a world where it's all too easy to blend in. Take a moment to reflect on what you consider your imperfections. Are they truly flaws, or are they unique aspects of your personality that you've been conditioned to see as negatives? Understand that you're not defined by your imperfections. They're a part of you, but they don't own you. They're simply chapters in your story, not the whole book. Having acknowledged your imperfections, it's just as important to trust in the unique path that's your life journey. Your path is unlike anyone else's, and it's vital to bear that in mind. Your experiences, choices, and mistakes are what mold you into who you are. They're not only inevitable, but also essential. To trust your journey is to embrace uncertainty, to find comfort amidst chaos, and to recognize that it's okay not to have all the answers. It's like charting a course with multiple detours without a clear destination. But remember, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Acknowledge the power of your decisions, the strength of your own resilience. This trust in yourself and your journey is an affirmation of your authenticity. It's about being real, being you, even when the world tries to mold you into something else. Releasing your authentic self is the cornerstone of building self-confidence. It's about letting go of the fear and uncertainty that holds you back and embracing all that makes you unique. You've got a universe of potential inside of you, just waiting for you to tap into. Don't be afraid to shine. Start by acknowledging your strengths and accomplishments. You've come a long way, haven't you? Each step you've taken, every challenge you've overcome, has shaped you into the person you're today. That's something to be proud of. Next, work on accepting your flaws and failures. They're part of you as much as your successes. Sure, they might sting sometimes, but they're also your greatest teachers. Embrace them, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones to reach higher heights. Finally, believe in yourself. You're capable of more than you think. You've got this. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. Let your light shine bright. Be bold, be brave, be you. Continuing your journey towards self-confidence, let's illuminate another aspect of your inner strength, the power of positive thinking. This isn't about ignoring life's troubles. Instead, it's about approaching hardships with a productive, optimistic mindset. You see, your thoughts can shape your reality. They're like a compass, guiding your actions and influencing your responses to life's challenges. When you replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations, you're setting a course for success. Your mind becomes a fertile ground, nurturing seeds of self-belief and resilience. Embrace the power of positive thinking. Start by identifying your self-limiting beliefs. Once you've recognized them, replace them with empowering thoughts. You're stronger than you think, and you're capable of achieving more than you imagine. Emotional intelligence is your secret weapon, your inner guiding star, leading you toward authenticity. It's not merely understanding your emotions, it's about harnessing them. You've got a well of feelings within you. Let's learn to navigate them. Picture your emotions as a vibrant palette of paints, each color representing a different feeling. You're the artist and your life is the canvas. Some days are blue, filled with melancholy. Others are radiant yellows of joy. Recognizing these colors gives you the power to create your masterpiece. Sure, it's challenging. You'll face emotions you'd rather avoid, but that's where growth lies. It's like braving a storm to witness the rainbow. Remember, you're stronger than your struggles. Start by acknowledging your feelings. Are you angry? Sad? Excited? Don't just feel, understand why. Once you've pinpointed the source, you're already halfway there. Practicing emotional intelligence is a journey of self-discovery, a path to authenticity. It's not a one-day task, it's a lifestyle. So don't rush it, embrace it. Every day you're one step closer to revealing your true self. Now, isn't that a journey worth venturing on? Imagine holding a magnifying glass to your life, focusing on the present moment. That's mindfulness. It's being aware, alert and alive in the now. It's not about silencing your thoughts, but acknowledging them without reaction or judgment. It's about wrapping yourself in the comfort of the present, instead of being wrapped up in past regrets or future anxieties. It's about perceiving the world through a lens of authenticity. An authentic you, feeling every emotion, every sensation without rushing to label or judge. That's the beauty of mindfulness. It doesn't ask you to be anything you're not, but to be everything you are. Mindfulness is a journey, not a destination. It's a practice, a skill, a discipline. It requires patience and self-love. Remember, it's okay to lose focus, to wander off, but it's important to gently guide yourself back to the moment. Cultivate this mindful awareness daily. Make it a habit. Watch as it slowly peels away layers of stress, worry, and self-doubt, revealing a more authentic, more resilient you. And through this journey, you'll realize that the greatest gift you can give yourself is the present moment. Embrace it. Venturing on the path of personal growth can feel intimidating, but it's a journey each of us must undertake to reveal our authentic selves. It's not about becoming someone else, it's about becoming who you truly are. This is a process of discovering, accepting, and embracing your unique qualities, strengths, and even weaknesses. Remember, it's okay to be imperfect. Perfection is an illusion. The beauty of personal growth lies in your ability to accept your flaws and work on them. You'll surprise yourself with the strength you didn't know you had. Prioritize personal growth by setting aside time each day for self-reflection. Ask yourself, what can I learn from my experiences? How can I grow from them? Embrace change. It's the only constant in life. Open your mind to new ideas, perspectives, and opportunities. Stay committed to your personal growth journey. It might get tough, but remember, you're in control. You're the architect of your life. You have the power to build the life you want. So, start today, focus on you, and take that brave step towards revealing your authentic self. You're worth it. In your journey of personal growth, it's essential to pause and honor your achievements, no matter how big or small. Every step forward, each hurdle overcome, is a badge of honor to your resilience, grit, and unwavering spirit. And so, it's pivotal to take time to celebrate these victories. When you acknowledge your accomplishments, you're not just patting yourself on the back. You're reinforcing a positive feedback loop of success, strengthening your self-confidence, and boosting your motivation to push on. And it's not about bragging or stroking your ego. It's a genuine recognition of the hard work you've put in. So don't shy away from celebrating yourself. You've earned it. Throw a party, treat yourself to a nice dinner, or simply take a peaceful moment to reflect on how far you've come. This isn't vanity, it's self-love, and it's pivotal for your personal development. So step boldly into the arena of self-discovery, my friend. Embrace your strengths, own your weaknesses, and bask in the glow of your authentic self. Remember, the journey to rebuild yourself is a marathon, not a sprint. It's okay to stumble. Just get back up. Prioritize your well-being, cultivate gratitude, and embrace change with courage. You've got this. Every day is a new chance to be a better you, to rise, to shine, to thrive. Let's take it one day at a time together.
Thank you for listening on Audiowormofficial. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please like, comment, and share it with fellow book lovers. Make sure to subscribe for more classic literature and hit the bell icon for updates. Happy listening, and see you in the next one. Welcome to Audiowormofficial, where timeless classics come to life through voice. Today, we bring you a new book. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this literary masterpiece. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new audiobook upload.
The Richest Man in Babylon 1926. George S. Clason. Babylon became the wealthiest city of the ancient world because its citizens were the richest people of their time. They appreciated the value of money. They practiced sound financial principles in acquiring money, keeping money, and making their money earn more money. They provided for themselves what we all desire, incomes for the future. An historical sketch of Babylon. In the pages of history there lives no city more glamorous than Babylon. Its very name conjures visions of wealth and splendor. Its treasures of gold and jewels were fabulous. One naturally pictures such a wealthy city as located in a suitable setting of tropical luxury, surrounded by rich natural resources of forests and mines. Such was not the case. It was located beside the Euphrates River, in a flat, arid valley. It had no forests, no mines, not even stone for building. It was not even located upon a natural trade route. The rainfall was insufficient to raise crops. Babylon is an outstanding example of man's ability to achieve great objectives, using whatever means are at his disposal. All of the resources supporting this large city were man-developed. All of its riches were man-made. Babylon possessed just two natural resources: a fertile soil and water in the river. With one of the greatest engineering accomplishments of this or any other day, Babylonian engineers diverted the waters from the river by means of dams and immense irrigation canals. Far out across that arid valley went these canals to pour the life-giving waters over the fertile soil. This ranks among the first engineering feats known to history. Such abundant crops as were the reward of this irrigation system the world had never seen before. Fortunately, during its long existence, Babylon was ruled by successive lines of kings to whom conquest and plunder were but incidental. While it engaged in many wars, most of these were local or defensive against ambitious conquerors from other countries who coveted the fabulous treasures of Babylon. The outstanding rulers of Babylon live in history because of their wisdom, enterprise, and justice. Babylon produced no strutting monarchs who sought to conquer the known world that all nations might pay homage to their egotism. As a city, Babylon exists no more. When those energizing human forces that built and maintained the city for thousands of years were withdrawn, it soon became a deserted ruin. The site of the city is in Asia, about 600 miles east of the Suez Canal, just north of the Persian Gulf. The latitude is about 30 degrees above the equator, practically the same as that of Yuma, Arizona. It possessed a climate similar to that of this American city, hot and dry. Today, this valley of the Euphrates, once a populous irrigated farming district, is again a windswept arid waste. Scant grass and desert shrubs strive for existence against the windblown sands. Gone are the fertile fields, the mammoth cities, and the long caravans of rich merchandise. Nomadic bands of Arabs, securing a scant living by tending small herds, are the only inhabitants. Such it has been since about the beginning of the Christian era. Dotting this valley are earthen hills. For centuries, they were considered by travelers to be nothing else. The attention of archaeologists were finally attracted to them because of broken pieces of pottery and brick washed down by the occasional rainstorms. Expeditions, financed by European and American museums, were sent here to excavate and see what could be found. Picks and shovels soon proved these hills to be ancient cities. City graves, they might well be called. Babylon was one of these. Over it for something like 20 centuries, the winds had scattered the desert dust. Built originally of brick, all exposed walls had disintegrated and gone back to earth once more. Such is Babylon, the wealthy city, today. A heap of dirt, so long abandoned that no living person even knew its name until it was discovered by carefully removing the refuse of centuries from the streets and the fallen wreckage of its noble temples and palaces. Many scientists consider the civilization of Babylon and other cities in this valley to be the oldest of which there is a definite record. Positive dates have been proved reaching back 8,000 years. An interesting fact in this connection is the means used to determine these dates. Uncovered in the ruins of Babylon were descriptions of an eclipse of the sun. Modern astronomers readily computed the time when such an eclipse, visible in Babylon, occurred and thus established a known relationship between their calendar and our own. In this way, we have proved that 8,000 years ago, the Sumerites, who inhabited Babylonia, were living in walled cities. One can only conjecture for how many centuries previous such cities had existed. Their inhabitants were not mere barbarians living within protecting walls. They were an educated and enlightened people. So far as written history goes, they were the first engineers, the first astronomers, the first mathematicians, the first financiers and the first people to have a written language. Mention has already been made of the irrigation systems which transformed the arid valley into an agricultural paradise. The remains of these canals can still be traced, although they are mostly filled with accumulated sand. Some of them were of such size that, when empty of water, a dozen horses could be ridden abreast along their bottoms. In size they compare favorably with the largest canals in Colorado and Utah. In addition to irrigating the valley lands, Babylonian engineers completed another project of similar magnitude. By means of an elaborate drainage system they reclaimed an immense area of swampland at the mouths of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers and put this also under cultivation. Herodotus, the Greek traveler and historian, visited Babylon while it was in its prime and has given us the only known description by an outsider. His writings give a graphic description of the city and some of the unusual customs of its people. He mentions the remarkable fertility of the soil and the bountiful harvest of wheat and barley which they produced. The glory of Babylon has faded, but its wisdom has been preserved for us. For this we are indebted to their form of records. In that distant day, the use of paper had not been invented. Instead, they laboriously engraved their writing upon tablets of moist clay. When completed, these were baked and became hard tile. In size, they were about 6 by 8 inches, and an inch in thickness. These clay tablets, as they are commonly called, were used much as we use modern forms of writing. Upon them were engraved legends, poetry, history, transcriptions of royal decrees, the laws of the land, titles to property, promissory notes, and even letters which were dispatched by messengers to distant cities. From these clay tablets we are permitted an insight into the intimate, personal affairs of the people. For example, one tablet, evidently from the records of a country storekeeper, relates that upon the given date a certain named customer brought in a cow and exchanged it for 7 sacks of wheat, 3 being delivered at the time and the other 4 to await the customer's pleasure. Safely buried in the wrecked cities, archaeologists have recovered entire libraries of these tablets, hundreds of thousands of them. One of the outstanding wonders of Babylon was the immense wall surrounding the city. The ancients ranked them with the Great Pyramid of Egypt as belonging to the 7 wonders of the world. Queen Semiramis is credited with having erected the first walls during the early history of the city. Modern excavators have been unable to find any trace of the original walls. Nor is their exact height known. From mention made by early writers, it is estimated they were about 50 to 60 feet high, faced on the outer side with burnt brick and further protected by a deep moat of water. The later and more famous walls were started about 600 years before the time of Christ by King Nabopolassar. Upon such a gigantic scale did he plan the rebuilding, he did not live to see the work finished. This was left to his son, Nebuchadnezzar, whose name is familiar in biblical history. The height and length of these later walls staggers belief. They are reported upon reliable authority to have been about 160 feet high, the equivalent of the height of a modern 15-story office building. The total length is estimated as between 9 and 11 miles. So wide was the top that a 6-horse chariot could be driven around them. Of this tremendous structure, little now remains except portions of the foundations and the moat. In addition to the ravages of the elements, the Arabs completed the destruction by quarrying the brick for building purposes elsewhere. Against the walls of Babylon marched, in turn, the victorious armies of almost every conqueror of that age of wars of conquest. A host of kings laid siege to Babylon, but always in vain. Invading armies of that day were not to be considered lightly. Historians speak of such units as 10,000 horsemen, 25,000 chariots, 1,200 regiments of foot soldiers with 1,000 men to the regiment. Often 2 or 3 years of preparation would be required to assemble war materials and depots of food along the proposed line of march. The city of Babylon was organized much like a modern city. There were streets and shops. Peddlers offered their wares through residential districts. Priests officiated in magnificent temples. Within the city was an inner enclosure for the royal palaces. The walls about this were said to have been higher than those about the city. The Babylonians were skilled in the arts. These included sculpture, painting, weaving, gold working and the manufacture of metal weapons and agricultural implements. Their jewelers created most artistic jewelry. Many samples have been recovered from the graves of its wealthy citizens and are now on exhibition in the leading museums of the world. At a very early period when the rest of the world was still hacking at trees with stone-headed axes, or hunting and fighting with flint-pointed spears and arrows, the Babylonians were using axes, spears and arrows with metal heads. The Babylonians were clever financiers and traders. So far as we know, they were the original inventors of money as a means of exchange, of promissory notes and written titles to property. Babylon was never entered by hostile armies until about 540 years before the birth of Christ. Even then the walls were not captured. The story of the fall of Babylon is most unusual. Cyrus, one of the great conquerors of that period, intended to attack the city and hoped to take its impregnable walls. Advisors of Nabonidus, the king of Babylon, persuaded him to go forth to meet Cyrus and give him battle without waiting for the city to be besieged. In the succeeding defeat to the Babylonian army, it fled away from the city. Cyrus, thereupon, entered the open gates and took possession without resistance. Thereafter the power and prestige of the city gradually waned until, in the course of a few hundred years, it was eventually abandoned, deserted, left for the winds and storms to level once again to that desert earth from which its grandeur had originally been built. Babylon had fallen, never to rise again, but to its civilization owes much. The eons of time have crumbled to dust the proud walls of its temples, but the wisdom of Babylon endures. Money is the medium by which earthly success is measured. Money makes possible the enjoyment of the best the earth affords. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws which govern its acquisition. Money is governed today by the same laws which controlled it when prosperous men thronged the streets of Babylon, 6,000 years ago. The man who desired gold, Bansur, the chariot builder of Babylon, was thoroughly discouraged. From his seat upon the low wall surrounding his property, he gazed sadly at his simple home and the open workshop in which stood a partially completed chariot. His wife frequently appeared at the open door. Her furtive glances in his direction reminded him that the meal bag was almost empty and he should be at work finishing the chariot, hammering and hewing, polishing and painting, stretching taut the leather over the wheel rims, preparing it for delivery so he could collect from his wealthy customer. Nevertheless, his fat, muscular body sat stolidly upon the wall. His slow mind was struggling patiently with a problem for which he could find no answer. The hot, tropical sun, so typical of this valley of the Euphrates, beat down upon him mercilessly. Beads of perspiration formed upon his brow and trickled down unnoticed to lose themselves in hairy jungle on his chest. Beyond his home towered the high terraced wall surrounding the king's palace. Nearby, cleaving the blue heavens, was the painted tower of the Temple of Bel. In the shadow of such grandeur was his simple home and many others far less neat and well cared for. Babylon was like this, a mixture of grandeur and squalor, of dazzling wealth and direst poverty, crowded together without plan or system within the protecting walls of the city. Behind him, had he cared to turn and look, the noisy chariots of the rich jostled and crowded aside the sandaled tradesmen as well as the barefooted beggars. Even the rich were forced to turn into the gutters to clear the way for the long lines of slave water carriers, on the king's business, each bearing a heavy goatskin of water to be poured upon the hanging gardens. Bansir was too engrossed in his own problem to hear or heed the confused hubbub of the busy city. It was the unexpected twanging of the strings from a familiar lyre that aroused him from his reverie. He turned and looked into the sensitive, smiling face of his best friend Kabai, the musician. "May the gods bless thee with great liberality, my good friend," began Kabai with an elaborate salute. "Yet, it does appear they have already been so generous thou needest not to labor. I rejoice with thee in thy good fortune. More, I would even share it with thee. Pray, from thy purse which must be bulging else thou wouldst be busy in your shop, extract but 2 humble shekels and lend them to me until after the nobleman's feast this night. Thou wilt not miss them ere they are returned." "If I did have 2 shekels, Bansir responded gloomily, "to no one could I lend them, not even to you, my best of friends, for they would be my fortune, my entire fortune." "No one lends his entire fortune, not even to his best friend." "What?" exclaimed Kabai with genuine surprise, "thou hast not 1 shekel in thy purse, yet sit like a statue upon a wall. Why not complete that chariot? How else canst thou provide for thy noble appetite? 'Tis not like thee, my friend. Where is thy endless energy? Doth something distress thee? Have the gods brought to thee troubles?" "A torment from the gods it must be," Bansir agreed. "It began with a dream, a senseless dream, in which I thought I was a man of means. From my belt hung a handsome purse, heavy with coins. There were shekels which I cast with careless freedom to the beggars, there were pieces of silver with which I did buy finery for my wife and whatever I did desire for myself, there were pieces of gold which made me feel assured of the future and unafraid to spend the silver. A glorious feeling of contentment was within me. You would not have known me for thy hard-working friend. Nor wouldst have known my wife, so free from wrinkles was her face and shining with happiness. She was again the smiling maiden of our early married days." "A pleasant dream, indeed," commented Kabai, "but why should such pleasant feelings as it aroused turn thee into a glum statue upon the wall?" "Why, indeed? Because when I awoke and remembered how empty was my purse, a feeling of rebellion swept over me. Let us talk it over together, for, as the sailors do say, we ride in the same boat, we two. As youngsters, we went together to the priests to learn wisdom. As young men, we shared each other's pleasures. As grown men, we have always been close friends. We have been contented subjects of our kind. We have been satisfied to work long hours and spend our earnings freely. We have earned much coin in the years that have passed, yet to know the joys that come from wealth, we must dream about them. Bah! Are we more than dumb sheep? We live in the richest city in all the world. The travelers do say none equals it in wealth. About us is much display of wealth, but of it we ourselves have not. After half a lifetime of hard labor, thou, my best of friends, hast an empty purse and sayest to me, may I borrow such a trifle as 2 shekels until after the nobleman's feast this night? Then, what do I reply? Do I say, here is my purse, its contents will I gladly share? No, I admit that my purse is as empty as thine. What is the matter? Why cannot we acquire silver and gold more than enough for food and robes? Consider, also, our sons, Bansir continued, are they not 17 following in the footsteps of their fathers? Need they and their families and their sons' families live all their lives in the midst of such treasurers of gold, and yet, like us, be content to banquet upon sour goat's milk and porridge? Never, in all the years of our friendship, didst thou talk like this before, Bansir. Kabai was puzzled. Never in all those years did I think like this before. From early dawn until darkness stopped me, I have labored to build the finest chariots any man could make, soft-heartedly hoping someday the gods would recognize my worthy deeds and bestow upon me great prosperity. This they have never done. At last, I realize this they will never do. Therefore, my heart is sad. I wish to be a man of means. I wish to own lands and cattle, to have fine robes and coins in my purse. I am willing to work for these things with all the strength in my back, with all the skill in my hands, with all the cunning in my mind, but I wish my labors to be fairly rewarded. What is the matter with us? Again I ask you. Why cannot we have our just share of the good things so plentiful for those who have the gold with which to buy them? Would I knew an answer. Kabai replied. No better than thou am I satisfied. My earnings from my lyre are quickly gone. Often must I plan and scheme that my family be not hungry. Also, within my breast is a deep longing for a lyre large enough that it may truly sing the strains of music that do surge through my mind. With such an instrument could I make music finer than even the king has heard before. Such a lyre thou shouldst have. No man in all Babylon could make it sing more sweetly, could make it sing so sweetly, not only the king but the gods themselves would be delighted. But how mayest thou secure it while we both of us are as poor as the king's slaves? Listen to the bell. Here they come. He pointed to the long column of half-naked, sweating water-bearers plodding laboriously up the narrow street from the river. 5 abreast they marched, each bent under a heavy goatskin of water. A fine figure of a man, he who doth lead them. Kabai indicated the wearer of the bell who marched in front without a load. A prominent man in his own country, 'tis easy to see. There are many good figures in the line, Bansir agreed, as good men as we. Tall, blonde men from the north, laughing black men from the south, little brown men from the nearer countries. All marching together from the river to the gardens, back and forth, day after day, year after year. Naught of happiness to look forward to. Beds of straw upon which to sleep, hard grain porridge to eat. Pity the poor brutes, Kabai. Pity them I do. Yet, thou dost make me see how little better off are we, free men though we call ourselves. That is truth, Kabai, unpleasant thought though it be. We do not wish to go on year after year living slavish lives? Working, working, working. Getting nowhere. Might we not find out how others acquire gold and do as they do? Kabai inquired. Perhaps there is some secret we might learn if we but sought from those who knew, replied Bansir thoughtfully. This very day, suggested Kabai, I did pass our old friend, Arkad, riding in his golden chariot. This I will say, he did not look over my humble head as many in his station might consider his right. Instead, he did wave his hand that all onlookers might see him pay greetings and bestow his smile of friendship upon Kabai, the musician. He is claimed to be the richest man in all Babylon, Bansir mused. So rich the king is said to seek his golden aid in affairs of the treasury, Kabai replied. So rich, Bansir interrupted, I fear if I should meet him in the darkness of the night, I should lay my hands upon his fat wallet. Nonsense, reproved Kabai, a man's wealth is not in the purse he carries. A fat purse quickly empties if there be no golden stream to refill it. Arkad has an income that constantly keeps his purse full, no matter how liberally he spends. Income, that is the thing, ejaculated Bansir. I wish an income that will keep flowing into my purse whether I sit upon the wall or travel to far lands. Arkad must know how a man can make an income for himself. Dost suppose it is something he could make clear to a mind as slow as mine? Methinks he did teach his knowledge to his son, no Mazir, Kabai responded. Did he not go to Nineveh and, so it is told at the inn, become, without aid from his father, one of the richest men in that city? Kabai, thou bringest to me a rare thought. A new light gleamed in Bansur's eyes. It costs nothing to ask wise advice from a good friend, and Arkad was always that. Never mind though our purses be as empty as the falcon's nest of a year ago. Let that not detain us. We are weary of being without gold in the midst of plenty. We wish to become men of means. Come, let us go to Arkad and ask how we, also, may acquire incomes for ourselves. Thou speakest with true inspiration, Bansur. Thou bringeth to my mind a new understanding. Thou makest me to realize the reason why we have never found any measure of wealth. We never sought it. Thou hast labored patiently to build the staunchest chariots in Babylon. To that purpose was devoted your best endeavors. Therefore, at it thou didst succeed. I strove to become a skillful lyre player. And, at it I did succeed. In those things toward which we exerted our best endeavors we succeeded. The gods were content to let us continue thus. Now, at last, we see a light, bright like that from the rising sun. It biddeth us to learn more that we may prosper more. With a new understanding we shall find honorable ways to accomplish our desires. Let us go to Arkad this very day, Bansur urged. Also, let us ask other friends of our boyhood days, who have fared no better than ourselves, to join us that they, too, may share in his wisdom. Thou wert ever thus thoughtful of thy friends, Bansur. Therefore hast thou many friends. It shall be as thou sayest. We go this day and take them with us. The richest man in Babylon. In old Babylon there once lived a certain very rich man named Arkad. Far and wide he was famed for his great wealth. Also was befamed for his liberality. He was generous in his charities. He was generous with his family. He was liberal in his own expenses. But nevertheless each year his wealth increased more rapidly than he spent it. And there were certain friends of younger days who came to him and said, You, Arkad, are more fortunate than we. You have become the richest man in all Babylon while we struggle for existence. You can wear the finest garments and you can enjoy the rarest foods, while we must be content if we can clothe our families in raiment that is presentable and feed them as best we can. Yet, once we were equal. We studied under the same master. We played in the same games. And in neither the studies nor the games did you outshine us. And in the years since, you have been no more an honorable citizen than we. Nor have you worked harder or more faithfully, insofar as we can judge. Why, then, should a fickle fate single you out to enjoy all the good things of life and ignore us who are equally deserving? Thereupon Arkad remonstrated with them, saying, If you have not acquired more than a bare existence in the years since we were youths, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern the building of wealth, or else you do not observe them. Fickle fate is a vicious goddess who brings no permanent good to anyone. On the contrary, she brings ruin to almost every man upon whom she showers unearned gold. She makes wanton spenders, who soon dissipate all they receive and are left beset by overwhelming appetites and desires they have not the ability to gratify. Yet others whom she favors become misers and hoard their wealth, fearing to spend what they have, knowing they do not possess the ability to replace it. They further are beset by fear of robbers and doom themselves to lives of emptiness and secret misery. Others there probably are, who can take unearned gold and add to it and continue to be happy and contented citizens. But so few are they, I know of them but by hearsay. Think you of the men who have inherited sudden wealth, and see if these things are not so. His friends admitted that of the men they knew who had inherited wealth these words were true, and they besought him to explain to them how he had become possessed of so much prosperity. So he continued, In my youth I looked about me and saw all the good things there were to bring happiness and contentment. And I realized that wealth increased the potency of all these. Wealth is a power. With wealth many things are possible. One may ornament the home with the richest of furnishings. One may sail the distant seas. One may feast on the delicacies of far lands. One may buy the ornaments of the gold worker and the stone polisher. One may even build mighty temples for the gods. One may do all these things and many others in which there is delight for the senses and gratification for the soul. And, when I realized all this, I decided to myself that I would claim my share of the good things of life. I would not be one of those who stand afar off, enviously watching others enjoy. I would not be content to clothe myself in the cheapest raiment that looked respectable. I would not be satisfied with the lot of a poor man. On the contrary, I would make myself a guest at this banquet of good things. Being, as you know, the son of a humble merchant, one of a large family with no hope of an inheritance, and not being endowed, as you have so frankly said, with superior powers or wisdom, I decided that if I was to achieve what I desired, time and study would be required. As for time, all men have it in abundance. You, each of you, have let slip by sufficient time to have made yourselves wealthy. Yet, you admit, you have nothing to show except your good families, of which you can be justly proud. As for study, did not our wise teacher teach us that learning was of two kinds, the one kind being the things we learned and knew, and the other being the training that taught us how to find out what we did not know? Therefore did I decide to find out how one might accumulate wealth, and when I had found out, to make this my task and do it well. For, is it not wise that we should enjoy while we dwell in the brightness of the sunshine, for sorrows enough shall descend upon us when we depart for the darkness of the world of spirit? I found employment as a scribe in the hall of records, and long hours each day I labored upon the clay tablets. Week after week, and month after month, I labored, yet for my 24 earnings I had naught to show. Food and clothing and penance to the gods, and other things of which I could remember not what, absorbed all my earnings. But my determination did not leave me. And one day Algamish, the money lender, came to the house of the city master and ordered a copy of the 9th law, and he said to me, I must have this in 2 days, and if the task is done by that time, 2 coppers will I give to thee. So I labored hard, but the law was long, and when Algamish returned the task was unfinished. He was angry, and had I been his slave, he would have beaten me. But knowing the city master would not permit him to injure me, I was unafraid, so I said to him, Algamish, you are a very rich man. Tell me how I may also become rich, and all night I will carve upon the clay, and when the sun rises it shall be completed. He smiled at me and replied, You are a forward knave, but we will call it a bargain. All that night I carved, though my back pained and the smell of the wick made my head ache until my eyes could hardly see. But when he returned at sunup, the tablets were complete. Now, I said, tell me what you promised. You have fulfilled your part of our bargain, my son, he said to me kindly, and I am ready to fulfill mine. I will tell you these things you wish to know because I am becoming an old man, and an old tongue loves to wag. And when youth comes to age for advice he receives the wisdom of years. But too often does youth think that age knows only the wisdom of days that are gone, and therefore profits not. But remember this, the sun that shines today is the sun that shone when thy father was born, and will still be shining when thy last grandchild shall pass into the darkness. The thoughts of youth, he continued, are bright lights that shine forth like the meteors that oft make brilliant the sky, but the wisdom of age is like the fixed stars that shine so unchanged that the sailor may depend upon them to steer his course. Mark you well my words, for if you do not you will fail to grasp the truth that I will tell you, and you will think that your night's work has been in vain. Then he looked at me shrewdly from under his shaggy brows and said in a low, forceful tone, I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep. And so will you. Then he continued to look at me with a glance that I could feel pierce me but said no more. Is that all? I asked. That was sufficient to change the heart of a sheepherder into the heart of a money lender, he replied. But all I earn is mine to keep, is it not? I demanded. Far from it, he replied. Do you not pay the garment maker? Do you not pay the sandal maker? Do you not pay for the things you eat? Can you live in Babylon without spending? What have you to show for your earnings of the past month? What for the past year? Fool! You pay to everyone but yourself. Dullard, you labor for others. As well be a slave and work for what your master gives you to eat and wear. If you did keep for yourself 1/10 of all you earn, how much would you have in 10 years? My knowledge of the numbers did not forsake me, and I answered, as much as I earn in 1 year. You speak but half the truth, he retorted. Every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you. Every copper it earns is its child that also can earn for you. If you would become wealthy, then what you save must earn, and its children must earn, that all may help to give to you the abundance you crave. You think I cheat you for your long night's work, he continued, but I am paying you 1,000 times over if you have the intelligence to grasp the truth I offer you. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. It should be not less than 1/10 no matter how little you earn. It can be as much more as you can afford. Pay yourself first. Do not buy from the clothes maker and the sandal maker more than you can pay out of the rest and still have enough for food and charity and penance to the gods. Wealth, like a tree, grows from a tiny seed. The first copper you save is the seed from which your tree of wealth shall grow. The sooner you plant that seed, the sooner shall the tree grow. And the more faithfully you nourish and water that tree with consistent savings, the sooner may you bask in contentment beneath its shade. So saying, he took his tablets and went away. I thought much about what he had said to me, and it seemed reasonable. So I decided that I would try it. Each time I was paid, I took one from each 10 pieces of copper and hid it away. And strange as it may seem, I was no shorter of funds than before. I noticed little difference as I managed to get along without it. But often I was tempted, as my hoard began to grow, to spend it for some of the good things the merchants displayed, brought by camels and ships from the land of the Phoenicians. But I wisely refrained. A 12th month after Algamish had gone, he again returned and said to me, Son, have you paid to yourself not less than 1/10 of all you have earned for the past year? I answered proudly, Yes, Master, I have. That is good, he answered, beaming upon me, and what have you done with it? I have given it to Azmur, the brickmaker, who told me he was traveling over the far seas and in Tyre he would buy for me the rare jewels of the Phoenicians. When he returns we shall sell these at high prices and divide the earnings. Every fool must learn, he growled, but why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? Would you go to the bread maker to inquire about the stars? No, by my tunic, you would go to the astrologer, if you had power to think. Your savings are gone, youth, you have jerked your wealth tree up by the roots. But plant another. Try again. And next time if you would have advice about jewels, go to the jewel merchant. If you would know the truth about sheep, go to the herdsman. Advice is one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having. He who takes advice about his savings from one who is inexperienced in such matters, shall pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions. Saying this, he went away. And it was as he said. For the Phoenicians are scoundrels and sold to Azmur worthless bits of glass that looked like gems. But as Algamish had bid me, I again saved each 10th copper, for I now had formed the habit and it was no longer difficult. Again, 12 months later, Algamish came to the room of the scribes and addressed me. What progress have you made since last I saw you? I have paid myself faithfully, I replied, and my savings I have entrusted to Agar the shield maker, to buy bronze, and each 4th month he does pay me the rental. That is good. And what do you do with the rental? I do have a great feast with honey and fine wine and spiced cake. Also I have bought me a scarlet tunic. And some day I shall buy me a young ass upon which to ride. To which Algamish laughed, You do eat the children of your savings. Then how do you expect them to work for you? And how can they have children that will also work for you? First get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet may you enjoy without regret. So saying, he again went away. Nor did I again see him for 2 years, when he once more returned, and his face was full of deep lines and his eyes drooped, for he was becoming a very old man. And he said to me, Arcad, hast thou yet achieved the wealth thou dreamed of? And I answered, not yet all that I desire, but some I have, and it earns more, and its earnings earn more. And do you still take the advice of brickmakers? About brickmaking they give good advice, I retorted. Arcad, he continued, you have learned your lessons well. You first learned to live upon less than you could earn. Next you learned to seek advice from those who were competent through their own experiences to give it. And, lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you. You have taught yourself how to acquire money, how to keep it, and how to use it. Therefore, you are competent for a responsible position. I am becoming an old man. My sons think only of spending and give no thought to earning. My interests are great, and I fear too much for me to look after. If you will go to Nipper and look after my lands there, I shall make you my partner, and you shall share in my estate. So I went to Nipper and took charge of his holdings, which were large. And because I was full of ambition, and because I had mastered the 3 laws of successfully handling wealth, I was enabled to increase greatly the value of his properties. So I prospered much, and when the spirit of Algamish departed for the sphere of darkness, I did share in his estate as he had arranged under the law. So spake Arcad, and when he had finished his tale, one of his friends said, you were indeed fortunate that Algamish made of you an heir. Fortunate only in that I had the desire to prosper before I first met him. For 4 years did I not prove my definiteness of purpose by keeping 1/10 of all earned. Would you call a fisherman lucky who for years so studied the habits of the fish that with each changing wind he could cast his nets about them? Opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. You had strong willpower to keep on after you lost your first year's savings. You are unusual in that way, spoke up another. Willpower, retorted Arcad. What nonsense! Do you think willpower gives a man the strength to lift a burden the camel cannot carry, or to draw a load the oxen cannot budge? Willpower is but the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set for yourself to fulfillment. If I set for myself a task, be it ever so trifling, I shall see it through. How else shall I have confidence in myself to do important things? Should I say to myself, for 100 days as I walk across the bridge into the city, I will pick from the road a pebble and cast it into the stream, I would do it? If on the 7th day I passed by without remembering, I would not say to myself, tomorrow I will cast 2 pebbles which will do as well. Instead, I would retrace my steps and cast the pebble. Nor on the 20th day would I say to myself, Arcad, this is useless. What does it avail you to cast a pebble every day? Throw in a handful and be done with it? No, I would not say that nor do it. When I set a task for myself, I complete it. Therefore, I am careful not to start difficult and impractical tasks, because I love leisure. And then another friend spoke up and said, if what you tell is true, and it does seem as you have said, reasonable, then being so simple, if all men did it, there would not be enough wealth to go around. Wealth grows wherever men exert energy, Arcad replied. If a rich man builds him a new palace, is the gold he pays out gone? No, the brickmaker has part of it, and the laborer has part of it, and the artist has part of it. And everyone who labors upon the house has part of it, yet when the palace is completed, is it not worth all it cost? And is the ground upon which it stands not worth more because it is there? And is the ground that adjoins it not worth more because it is there? Wealth grows in magic ways. No man can prophesy the limit of it. Have not the Phoenicians built great cities on barren coasts with the wealth that comes from their ships of commerce on the seas? What then do you advise us to do that we also may become rich? Asked still another of his friends. The years have passed and we are no longer young men and we have nothing put by. I advise that you take the wisdom of Algamish and say to yourselves, a part of all I earn is mine to keep. Say it in the morning when you first arise. Say it at noon. Say it at night. Say it each hour of every day. Say it to yourself until the words stand out like letters of fire across the sky. Impress yourself with the idea. Fill yourself with the thought. Then take whatever portion seems wise. Let it be not less than 1/10 and lay it by. Arrange your other expenditures to do this if necessary. But lay by that portion first. Soon you will realize what a rich feeling it is to own a treasure upon which you alone have claim. As it grows it will stimulate you. A new joy of life will thrill you. Greater efforts will come to you to earn more. For of your increased earnings, will not the same percentage be also yours to keep? Then learn to make your treasure work for you. Make it your slave. Make its children and its children's children work for you. Ensure an income for thy future. Look thou at the aged and forget not that in the days to come thou also will be numbered among them. Therefore invest thy treasure with greatest caution that it be not lost. Usurious rates of return are deceitful sirens that sing but to lure the unwary upon the rocks of loss and remorse. Provide also that thy family may not want should the gods call thee to their realms. For such protection it is always possible to make provision with small payments at regular intervals. Therefore the provident man delays not in expectation of a large sum becoming available for such a wise purpose. Counsel with wise men. Seek the advice of men whose daily work is handling money. Let them save you from such an error as I myself made in entrusting my money to the judgment of Asmur, the brickmaker. A small return and a safe one is far more desirable than risk. Enjoy life while you are here. Do not overstrain or try to save too much. If 1/10 of all you earn is as much as you can comfortably keep, be content to keep this portion. Live otherwise according to your income and let not yourself get niggardly and afraid to spend. Life is good and life is rich with things worthwhile and things to enjoy. His friends thanked him and went away. Some were silent because they had no imagination and could not understand. Some were sarcastic because they thought that one so rich should divide with old friends not so fortunate. But some had in their eyes a new light. They realized that Algamish had come back each time to the room of the scribes because he was watching a man work his way out of darkness into light. When that man had found the light, a place awaited him. No one could fill that place until he had for himself worked out his own understanding, until he was ready for opportunity. These latter were the ones, who, in the following years, frequently revisited Arcad, who received them gladly. He counseled with them and gave them freely of his wisdom as men of broad experience are always glad to do. And he assisted them in so investing their savings that it would bring in a good interest with safety and would neither be lost nor entangled in investments that paid no dividends. The turning point in these men's lives came upon that day when they realized the truth that had come from Algamish to Arcad and from Arcad to them. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. 7 cures for a lean purse. The glory of Babylon endures. Down through the ages its reputation comes to us as the richest of cities, its treasures as fabulous. Yet it was not always so. The riches of Babylon were the results of the wisdom of its people. They first had to learn how to become wealthy. When the good king, Sargon, returned to Babylon after defeating his enemies, the Elamites, he was confronted with a serious situation. The royal chancellor explained it to the king thus. After many years of great prosperity brought to our people because your majesty built the great irrigation canals and the mighty temples of the gods, now that these works are completed the people seem unable to support themselves. The laborers are without employment. The merchants have few customers. The farmers are unable to sell their produce. The people have not enough gold to buy food. But where has all the gold gone that we spent for these great improvements? Demanded the king. It has found its way, I fear, responded the chancellor, into the possession of a few very rich men of our city. It filtered through the fingers of most our people as quickly as the goat's milk goes through the strainer. Now that the stream of gold has ceased to flow, most of our people have nothing to for their earnings. The king was thoughtful for some time. Then he asked, "Why should so few men be able to acquire all the gold?" "Because they know how," replied the chancellor. "One may not condemn a man for succeeding because he knows how. Neither may one with justice take away from a man what he has fairly earned, to give to men of less ability." "But why," demanded the king, "should not all the people learn how to accumulate gold and therefore become themselves rich and prosperous?" "Quite possible, Your Excellency. But who can teach them?" "Certainly not the priests, because they know naught of money-making." "Who knows best in all our city how to become wealthy, Chancellor?" asked the king. "Thy question answers itself, Your Majesty. Who has amassed the greatest wealth, in Babylon?" "Well said, my able Chancellor. It is Arcad. He is richest man in Babylon. Bring him before me on the morrow." Upon the following day, as the king had decreed, Arcad appeared before him, straight and sprightly despite his 70 years. "Arcad," spoke the king, "is it true thou art the richest man in Babylon?" "So it is reported, Your Majesty, and no man disputes it." "How becamest thou so wealthy?" "By taking advantage of opportunities available to all citizens of our good city." "Thou hadst nothing to start with." "Only a great desire for wealth." "Besides this, nothing." "Arcad," continued the king, "our city is in a very unhappy state because a few men know how to acquire wealth and therefore monopolize it, while the mass of our citizens lack the knowledge of how to keep any part of the gold they receive. It is my desire that Babylon be the wealthiest city in the world. Therefore, it must be a city of many wealthy men. Therefore, we must teach all the people how to acquire riches. Tell me, Arcad, is there any secret to acquiring wealth? Can it be taught?" "It is practical, Your Majesty. That which one man knows can be taught to others." The king's eyes glowed. "Arcad, thou speak the words I wish to hear. Wilt thou lend thyself to this great cause? Wilt thou teach thy knowledge to a school for teachers, each of whom shall teach others until there are enough trained to teach these truths to every worthy subject in my domain?" Arcad bowed and said, "I am thy humble servant to command. Whatever knowledge I possess will I gladly give for the betterment of my fellow men and the glory of my king. Let your good chancellor arrange for me a class of 100 men and I will teach to them those 7 cures which did fatten my purse, than which there was none leaner in all Babylon." A fortnight later, in compliance with the king's command, the chosen 100 assembled in the great hall of the Temple of Learning, seated upon colorful rings in a semicircle. Arcad sat beside a small taburet upon which smoked a sacred lamp sending forth a strange and pleasing odor. "Behold the richest man in Babylon," whispered a student, nudging his neighbor as Arcad arose. "He is but a man even as the rest of us." "As a dutiful subject of our great king," Arcad began, "I stand before you in his service. Because once I was a poor youth who did greatly desire gold, and because I found knowledge that enabled me to acquire it, he asks that I impart unto you my knowledge. I started my fortune in the humblest way. I had no advantage not enjoyed as fully by you and every citizen in Babylon. The first storehouse of my treasure was a well purse. I loathed its useless emptiness. I desired it be round and full, clinking with the sound of gold. Therefore, I sought every remedy for a lean purse. I found 7. To you, who are assembled before me, shall I explain the 7 cures for a lean purse which I do recommend to all men who desire much gold. Each day for 7 days will I explain to you one of the 7 remedies. Listen attentively to the knowledge that I will impart. Debate it with me. Discuss it among yourselves. Learn these lessons thoroughly, that ye may also plant in your own purse the seed of wealth. First must each of you start wisely to build a fortune of his own. Then wilt thou be competent, and only then, to teach these truths to others. I shall teach to you in simple ways how to fatten your purses. This is the first step leading to the temple of wealth, and no man may climb who cannot plant his feet firmly upon the first step. We shall now consider the first cure. The first cure. Start thy purse to fattening. Arcad addressed a thoughtful man in the second row. My good friend, at what craft workest thou? I, replied the man, am a scribe and carve records upon the clay tablets. Even at such labor did I myself earn my first coppers. Therefore, thou hast the same opportunity to build a fortune. He spoke to a florid-faced man, farther back. Pray tell also what dost thou to earn thy bread? I, responded this man, am a meat butcher. I do buy the goats the farmers raise and kill them and sell the meat to the housewives and the hides to the sandal makers. Because thou dost also labor and earn, thou hast every advantage to succeed that I did possess. In this way did Arcad proceed to find out how each man labored to earn his living. When he had done questioning them, he said, Now, my students, ye can see that there are many trades and labors at which men may earn coins. Each of the ways of earning is a stream of gold from which the worker doth divert by his labors a portion to his own purse. Therefore into the purse of each of you flows a stream of coins large or small according to his ability. Is it not so? Thereupon they agreed that it was so. Then, continued Arcad, if each of you desire to build for himself a fortune, is it not wise to start by utilizing that source of wealth which he already has established? To this they agreed. Then Arcad turned to a humble man who had declared himself an egg merchant. If thou select one of thy baskets and put into it each morning 10 eggs and take out from it each evening 9 eggs, what will eventually happen? It will become in time overflowing. Why? Because each day I put in one more egg than I take out. Arcad turned to the class with a smile. Does any man here have a lean purse? First they looked amused. Then they laughed. Lastly they waved their purses in jest. All right, he continued, now I shall tell thee the first remedy I learned to cure a lean purse. Do exactly as I have suggested to the egg merchant. For every 10 coins thou placest within thy purse take out for use but 9. Thy purse will start to fatten at once and its increasing weight will feel good in thy hand and bring satisfaction to thy soul. Deride not what I say because of its simplicity. Truth is always simple. I told thee I would tell how built my fortune. This was my beginning. I, too, carried a lean purse and cursed it because there was naught within to satisfy my desires. But when I began to take out from my purse but 9 parts of 10 I put in, it began to fatten. So will thine. Now I will tell a strange truth, the reason for which I know not. When I ceased to pay out more than 9/10 of my earnings, I managed to get along just as well. I was not shorter than before. Also, ere long, did coins come to me more easily than before. Surely it is a law of the gods that unto him who keepeth and spendeth not a certain part of all his earnings, shall gold come more easily. Likewise, him whose purse is empty does gold avoid. Which desirest thou the most? Is it the gratification of thy desires of each day, a jewel, a bit of finery, better raiment, more food, things quickly gone and forgotten? Or is it substantial belongings, gold, lands, herds, merchandise, income-bringing investments? The coins thou takest from thy purse bring the first. The coins thou leavest within it will bring the latter. This, my students, was the first cure I did discover for my lean purse, for each 10 coins I put in, to spend but 9. Debate this amongst yourselves. If any man proves it untrue, tell me upon the morrow when we shall meet again. The second cure. Control thy expenditures. Some of your members, my students, have asked me this, how can a man keep 1/10 of all he earns in his purse when all the coins he earns are not enough for his necessary expenses? So did Arcad address his students upon the second day. Yesterday how many of thee carried lean purses? All of us, answered the class. Yet, thou do not all earn the same. Some earn much more than others. Some have much larger families to support. Yet, All purses were equally lean. Now I will tell thee an unusual truth about men and sons of men. It is this, that what each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes unless we protest to the contrary. Confuse not the necessary expenses with thy desires. Each of you, together with your good families, have more desires than your earnings can gratify. Therefore are thy earnings spent to gratify these desires insofar as they will go. Still thou retainest many ungratified desires. All men are burdened with more desires than they can gratify. Because of my wealth thinkest thou I may gratify every desire? 'Tis a false idea. There are limits to my time. There are limits to my strength. There are limits to the distance I may travel. There are limits to what I may eat. There are limits to the zest with which I may enjoy. I say to you that just as weeds grow in a field wherever the farmer leaves space for their roots, even so freely do desires grow in men whenever there is a possibility of their being gratified. Thy desires are a multitude and those that thou mayest gratify are but few. Study thoughtfully thy accustomed habits of living. Herein may be most often found certain accepted expenses that may wisely be reduced or eliminated. Let thy motto be 100% of appreciated value demanded for each coin spent. Therefore, engrave upon the clay each thing for which thou desire to spend. Select those that are necessary and others that are possible through the expenditure of 9/10 of thy income. Cross out the rest and consider them but a part of that great multitude of desires that must go unsatisfied and regret them not. Budget then thy necessary expenses. Touch not the 1/10 that is fattening thy purse. Let this be thy great desire that is being fulfilled. Keep working with thy budget, keep adjusting it to help thee. Make it thy first assistant in defending thy fattening purse. Hereupon one of the students, wearing a robe of red and gold, arose and said, I am a free man. I believe that it is my right to enjoy the good things of life. Therefore do I rebel against the slavery of a budget which determines just how much I may spend and for what. I feel it would take much pleasure from my life and make me little more than a pack ass to carry a burden. To him Arcad replied, Who, my friend, would determine thy budget? I would make it for myself, responded the protesting one. In that case were a pack ass to budget his burden, would he include therein jewels and rugs and heavy bars of gold? Not so. He would include hay and grain and a bag of water for the desert trail. The purpose of a budget is to help thy purse to fatten. It is to assist thee to have thy necessities and, insofar as attainable, thy other desires. It is to enable thee to realize thy most cherished desires by defending them from thy casual wishes. Like a bright light in a dark cave, thy budget shows up the leaks from thy purse and enables thee to stop them and control thy expenditures for definite and gratifying purposes. This, then, is the second cure for a lean purse. Budget thy expenses that thou mayest have coins to pay for thy necessities, to pay for thy enjoyments and to gratify thy worthwhile desires without spending more than 9/10 of thy earnings. The third cure. Make thy gold multiply. Behold, thy lean purse is fattening. Thou hast disciplined thyself to leave therein 1/10 of all thou earneth. Thou hast controlled thy expenditures to protect thy growing treasure. Next, we will consider means to put thy treasure to labor and to increase. Gold in a purse is gratifying to own and satisfieth a miserly soul but earns nothing. The gold we may retain from our earnings is but the start. It will make shall build our fortunes. So spoke Arcad upon the third day to his class. How therefore may we put our gold to work? My first investment was unfortunate, for I lost all. Its tale I will relate later. My first profitable investment was a loan I made to a man named Agar, a shield maker. Once each year did he buy large shipments of bronze brought from across the sea to use in his trade. Lacking sufficient capital to pay the merchants, he would borrow from those who had extra coins. He was an honorable man. His borrowing he would repay, together with a liberal rental, as he sold his shields. Each time I loaned to him I loaned back also the rental he had paid to me. Therefore not only did my capital increase, but its earnings likewise increased. Most gratifying was it to have these sums returned to my
I've been
purse.
using Grammarly for 3 years.
I tell you, my students, a man's wealth is not in the coins he carries in his purse, it is the income he buildeth, the golden stream that continually floweth into his purse and keepeth it always bulging. That is what every man desireth. That is what thou, each one of thee desireth, an income that continueth to come whether thou work or travel.
First, go to Google
Great
and
income
search
one have
CapCut.
acquired.
It's going to be
So
the
great
first
that
link,
I am called
so
a
just
very
click on
rich
it,
man.
or you can just go to
My
their
loans to
website,
Agar were
which
my
is
first training in profitable
capcut.com.
investment.
Then move your mouse
Gaining
to
wisdom
download,
from this
and you
experience,
can click on
I extended
download
my
for
loans and
Windows
investments
or
as my
Mac.
capital
So
increased.
click on it. It's going to
From
ask
a
you
few
where you want to
sources at
save the
first,
file.
from many
I'll save it in
sources
my
later,
desktop.
flowed into my
And
purse
once
a
it's
golden
done,
stream
just
of wealth
open it.
available for
Then
such
just wait
wise
for it to
uses as I should
install.
decide.
Then CapCut will
Behold,
run a test
from
to
my
check
humble
whether your
earnings I had
computer
begotten
can
a
run
horde of
CapCut
golden
smoothly.
slaves,
So just
each
click on
laboring and
confirm.
earning more gold.
So this is what you see
As
when
they
you open
labored for me,
CapCut. Just click
so
on
their
new
children
project,
also
and then
labored
from
and their
here you can
children's
start
children
to
until
import
great
the
was the
videos that you
income
want
from
to
their
edit.
combined
Just add them
efforts.
in like this,
Gold
and
increaseth
you're now
rapidly
ready
when making
to
reasonable
edit
earnings, as
videos
thou wilt
on
see from the
CapCut.
following. A farmer, when his
Alright,
first
let's
son
use
was
this
born,
video as an
took
example.
10
So I'm
pieces
just
of
going to move the
silver
line
to
to
a money
exactly
lender
when
and
I want to
asked him
cut.
to keep it
Maybe
on rental
around
for
here.
his son
So
until
let's say I
he
want to cut
became
at this
20
point.
years
All
of
I have to
age.
do is make sure
This
I
the
click
money lender
on the
did,
video,
and
then
agreed
I
the
will click
rental
over
should be
here,
1/4
which
of its
says
value each
split.
4
So if I
years.
click it, now you can see
The
that
farmer
our video
asked,
is
because
split
the sum
into
he had set
two
aside as
pieces.
belonging
So we
to
have the
his
left
son,
side
that the
and the
rental
right
be
side.
add to the
So
principal.
I want to delete the part
When
on
the
the
boy
left.
had
So
reached
I can
the
go
age
ahead
of 20
and
years,
right click,
the farmer
and then I
again
can
went to the money
delete.
lender
So
to
that's how you
inquire
cut
about the
the
silver.
beginning of a
The
video.
money
So
lender
now let me show you
explained
how to
that
cut
because the sum
end
had been
of
increased
the
by
video.
compound
You just move
interest,
the line to
the original
exactly
10 pieces
when
of
you
silver
want to
had now
cut
grown
the
to
video.
30
So I'm
and
just going to
1/2
move the
pieces.
line. I'm going to click and
The
hold, and
farmer
I'm
was
going to
well
move it
pleased, and
to
because the son did
maybe
not
this
need the
moment. This
coins,
is the part
he
where
left them
she
with the
finished
money
pouring
lender.
the coffee.
When
So
the
again,
son
just like
became
before,
50
I
years of
click
age,
on the video,
the father
and then I
meantime
click
having
on
passed to
split.
the other
So now
world,
we have two
the
pieces.
money lender paid the
We
son
don't
in
need this
settlement
part on the right side. You can
167
right-click.
pieces of
You can
silver.
delete. Or
Thus
you can
in
also
50 years
click on
had the
this
investment
trash can over
multiplied
here.
itself
So
at
if you
rental
click on it,
almost
then it's going to
17
delete
times.
that part of the video. So this is how you cut
then,
the end
is the third
of
cure
a
for a
video.
lean
Now, what
purse,
if you want to
to
delete
put
the
each coin
middle
to laboring
part
that
of
it
your
may
video?
reproduce
First, let
its
me
kind
just
even as the
re-add
flocks
the
of the
video
field
again.
and help
And
bring
this
to the
time around,
income
let's say we
a
want to
stream of
delete the
wealth that
part
shall
where she
flow
pours the
constantly
coffee,
into thy
which
purse.
happens to be in the middle
fourth
of the
cure.
video. First,
Guard
we
thy
move
treasures
the
from
line to
loss.
exactly when you want to cut.
Misfortune
So if I
loves
want
a
to cut away
shining
the
mark.
part where her hand comes in and pour
Gold
the
in a
coffee,
man's purse must
I'll
be
just move
guarded
to
with firmness,
exactly
else
the
it be
moment
lost.
where I want to cut.
Thus
So
it
you
is
get around
wise
here
that we
because
must first
if I
secure
just go
small
forward a little
amounts
bit,
and
the
learn
hand
to
comes in,
protect them before the
right?
gods
So I'm gonna
entrust
go
us
back
with
like
larger.
this. Okay,
So
so you don't
spoke
see any
our
hand
head
over
upon
here.
the
I'm going
fourth
to
day to
click
his
on the
class.
video. I'm going to split.
Every owner of
So
gold
now
is
we have two
tempted by
pieces, right? We have the
opportunities
left
whereby
side
it would seem
and the
that
right
he could
side.
make large
But
sums
because we
by
are
its
cutting the
investment
middle
in
of the
most
video,
plausible
we will have to
projects.
continue.
Often
So I'm going
friends
to
and
decide
relatives are
exactly
eagerly
when
entering
I want
such
to cut.
investment and
So
urge him
I'm
to
just going to
follow.
move until
The
the part
first
where I
sound
want to cut.
principle
So
of
her hand
investment
goes
is
away.
security for thy principal. Is it wise to be intrigued by larger earnings when thy principal may be lost? I say not. The penalty of risk is probable loss. Study carefully, before parting with thy treasure, each assurance that it may be safely reclaimed. Be not misled by thine own romantic desires to make wealth rapidly. Before thou loan it to any man, assure thyself of his ability to repay and his reputation for doing so, that thou mayest not unwittingly be making him a present of thy hard-earned treasure. Before thou entrust it as an investment in any field, acquaint thyself with the dangers which may beset it. My own first investment was a tragedy to me at the time. The guarded savings of a year I did entrust to a brickmaker, named Azmour, who was traveling over the far seas, and in Tyre agreed to buy for me the rare jewels of the Phoenicians. These we would sell upon his return and divide the profits.
At this point,
the Phoenicians were scoundrels and
so
sold him bits of glass.
To where I want to cut.
My treasure
this
was
time
lost.
Around, I'm going to split
Today,
again.
my
Boom.
training
So
would
now you
show
can
to
see
me
we
at
have
once the folly of
3
entrusting
parts,
a brickmaker
right?
to buy jewels.
So to delete the part in
Therefore,
the middle, right
do
click.
I advise thee
I
from the
delete.
wisdom of my
And now
experiences,
if I play the video
be
from
not
the
too
beginning,
confident of
you can
thine
see
own
that
wisdom
we
in
cut away the
entrusting thy
part where
treasures to the the possible
hand comes in.
pitfalls
So
of
this is how you
investments.
cut the middle of a
Better
video.
by far to consult the wisdom of those
If you
experienced
want
in
to learn
handling
how
money
to
for
add
profit.
overlay in CapCut,
Such advice
for
is freely
example,
given for
an
the asking
image
and may readily
or a
possess a
photo
value equal in
or
gold to the
a
sum thou
GIF.
considerest investing. In truth, such is its actual value if it save thee from
or you
loss.
want to overlay a
This,
video
then, is
or
the fourth
even
cure
a
for a
green
lean
screen
purse, and of great importance if it
Then
prevent
keep
thy purse
watching
from being
because
emptied
this
once
video
it has
will show
become
you
well
how
filled.
to add overlays
Guard thy
in
treasure
CapCut
from loss by
step
investing
by
only where thy
step.
principal is
Alright,
safe,
so let's use this
where it
video
may
as
be
an
reclaimed
example.
if desirable,
We'll bring it to the timeline.
and where thou will not
so
fail
the
to
first
collect a
thing we
fair
can
rental.
add as an overlay would
Consult
be an
with
image.
wise men.
So to overlay an image,
Secure the
you can
advice
just
of those
click
experienced
and
in the
hold,
profitable
then just
handling
drag
of
it
gold.
down to your timeline
Let their
like
wisdom
this.
protect thy
You
treasure
can see
from
that if I
unsafe
play the
investments.
video, you'll have the
fifth cure.
image. First of all,
Make
we
of
can
thy dwelling
adjust
a
how the
profitable
image looks like.
investment.
You can adjust the
If
scale,
a man
you
set
can make it
aside
smaller,
9 parts of his
or
earnings
you can make
upon
it
which to
bigger.
live and enjoy
Okay?
life,
So make it as
and
big
if any
as
part
you
of
want
this
or as
9
small
parts
as you
he
want,
can turn
and
into a
then next thing
profitable
is you
investment
can
without
move it
detriment
around.
to his
You can bring
well-being,
it to anywhere
then
you
so
want,
much faster
position
will
it
his
to anywhere
treasures
you
grow.
want, and you can also
So
rotate
spake Arcad to his class
like
at their
this.
5th lesson.
Okay, you can rotate your images.
All too
and
many
then
of
next
our
thing
men of
is you can
Babylon
also
do raise their
adjust how
families
long
in
you want the
unseemly
image
quarters.
to appear. If you want
They
it
do
to
pay
appear
to
just
exacting
for a short
landlords
period of
liberal
time, then
rentals for
just
rooms
drag
where their
it
wives
to the
have
left.
not a spot
You
to
wanna make
raise
it
the blooms
small,
that gladden a
like
woman's
this.
heart, and their
So when I make it
children
very
have
short,
no
then
place
it's
to
going
play their
appear
games except
just
in
for
the
a short
unclean
while,
alleys.
and then it's gone.
No
If you want
man's
it to
family
appear
can fully
longer,
enjoy
then
life
just
unless they
drag
do
this
have a plot
out,
of ground
and it
wherein
will
children
appear
can play
longer.
in the clean
Now,
earth,
if you
and where
want
the
more
wife may
images,
raise
you
not
can actually
only
click on
blossoms but good
stickers.
rich herbs to
If you go
feed
to
her
stickers,
family.
you'll see that actually
To a man's
CapCut
heart it
already
brings
have a
gladness
lot
to
of
eat the
different
figs from
stickers
his
that
own
you can
trees
add
and
to
the
your
grapes of
videos.
his
So you
own
don't really
vines.
need to go online and
To
find
own his
all
own
those different
domicile and to
images
have it
and
a place
download
he
them.
is proud to
CapCut
care
already have
for,
quite a lot
out of
of
confidence in
useful
his heart
images
and
that you
greater
can add
effort
to your
behind all
videos.
his
So let's move
endeavors.
on. If you want to overlay a
Therefore,
photo,
do
you
I
just click and
recommend that
drag
every
it
man
down
own
to
the
your
root that
timeline,
sheltereth him and
you
his,
have something like this.
nor
Now
is it
it's the
beyond the
same thing.
ability
If you
of
want to
any
make it smaller,
well-intentioned man to own
make
his
it bigger,
home.
you can do that.
Hath not our
and then you
great
can
king so
position it
widely
anywhere you
extended the
want.
walls
Now,
of
if you want to
Babylon that
overlay a
within them
GIF,
much
just
land
click
is
and
now
hold,
48 unused
make
and
it
may be purchased
smaller
at sums most
or
reasonable?
bigger, and we can move it anywhere
Also
we
I
want.
say to you,
And then if
my
we were to
students,
overlay a video,
that the
click and
moneylenders
hold,
gladly
bring it
consider
down,
the
and now
desires
if I
of
play the
men who
video, you'll
seek
see
homes
that we
and
now
land
have
for their
another video
families.
as an overlay. So you
Readily
can
may
use
thou
this to
borrow
put
to pay the
B-rolls
brickmaker and the
on your
builder
video.
for such
Now, of
commendable
course, you can do the
purposes,
same thing as
if thou
before.
can show a
Bring
reasonable
it,
portion of the
you
necessary
can move
sum
it
which
anywhere
thou
we
thyself
want.
hast
And then
provided
if
for
we
the
were to
purpose.
overlay a video, click and
Then
hold,
when the house be
bring
built,
it down.
thou
Now if I
canst
play the
pay the
video, you'll see that
moneylender
we
with
now
the
have
same
another video
regularity as
as an
thou didst
overlay.
pay the
So you can use
landlord.
this to put B-rolls
Because each payment
on your
will
video.
reduce thy
Now, of
indebtedness
course,
to the
you can do the same
moneylender,
thing as
a
before.
few
You
years will
can
satisfy
make it
his loan.
smaller, and then just
Then will
bring
thy
it
heart
anywhere
be
you
glad
want.
because
This
thou
way you
wilt
can
own in
actually
thy
have
own right
two
a valuable
videos
property,
playing at
and
the
thy
same
only cost
time.
will be the
Now let's
king's
move on to the
taxes.
last type of overlay, which
Also
is
wilt thy
green
good
screen.
wife go
So
more
let me
often
bring
to
this
the
down,
river to
and
wash
if I
thy
play the video,
robes,
you can see that,
that
we have
each
this
time
green screen
returning
video
she
that
may
pops
bring
out.
a
It's
goat skin of
subscribe
water to
button.
pour upon
And
the
really
growing
what we want to
things.
do is to
Thus
remove
come
the
many
green
blessings
screen,
to the
right?
man who
So that
owneth
this
his own
subscribe
house,
button will appear on top
and greatly
of our
will it
video.
reduce
So how
his
do we
cost
remove
of
the green
living,
screen?
making
Just
available
click
more
on the
of his
video,
earnings for
and then if you
pleasures
look on
and
the
the
right side,
gratification
under
of his
video, you
desires.
see basic, click
This,
on cut
then,
out. Then you
is
see
the fifth
chroma
cure for a
key.
lean
Then
purse.
you turn
Own
on
thy own
chroma
home.
key, and then you
The
see
sixth
color
cure.
picker. And then you click
Ensure
on
a
the
future
pen. Click on the
income.
pen on the right side.
The life of every
Click
man
this,
proceedeth
then
from his
you are going
childhood to
pick
his
the
old
color
age.
to remove. Whatever
This is
color
the
you want to
path of
remove,
life, and no
just
man may
click on
deviate
it.
from
Okay,
it
it doesn't
unless
matter
the
if it's
gods
green,
call
white, or
him
black, or
prematurely
blue,
to
or
the
any
world
color. So I'm
beyond.
just going to click on the green.
Therefore
and you can
do
see
I
it
say
now.
that it
It's
behooves a
going
man to make
remove the green
preparation
color.
for a
Then the
suitable
next thing you
income
want
in
to
the
do
days
is
to
to
come,
increase the strength.
when he is no
So
longer
click on
young,
this,
and
and
to
then
make
just
preparations
increase the
for his
strength
family
until
should
you
he be
don't
no
see the
longer
green
with
screen
them to
anymore.
comfort
So
and
just
support
increase it
them.
gradually until
This
you don't see
lesson
the
shall
green screen
instruct thee
anymore.
in providing
So
a
if you have
full
a
purse
good
when
high
time has
quality
made
green
thee less
screen, you
able
just
to
bring it to
learn.
100 and it's just
So
going to work.
Arcad
Okay?
addressed his
Otherwise,
class
for some
upon the
green screen
6th day.
videos, you may have to slowly
The man
play
who,
around with the
because
strength
of his
until you
understanding
get
of the
sweet
laws of
spot.
wealth,
If I play the video
acquired the
again, we
growing
cannot see that
surplus,
we don't have a green
should give
screen
thought to
anymore.
those
It's just
future
a subscribe
days.
button that overlays
He should
on top
plan
of
certain
our video.
investments
So
or
as promised,
provision
this is
that
how
may
to add
endure
overlay
safely for
on
many
CapCut.
years, yet will be available when the time
Now to
arrives
add
which he
text,
has so
just click
wisely
on
anticipated.
text, and then you can
There
see
are
here
diverse
default
ways
text.
by which a man may
You can
provide
just
with
click
safety
and
for
then
his
just
future.
bring it down.
He may provide a
your
hiding
video,
place and there
just
bury
like
a
this.
secret treasure.
Okay, then
Yet,
what you'll notice
no
is
matter
you
with
can
what skill it be
drag
hidden,
it out.
it may nevertheless
You can
become the
make
loot
it
of thieves.
longer.
For this
Or you
reason
make
I
it
recommend
shorter.
not this
And then you
plan.
can also position it
A man
to
may buy houses
when
or
you want
lands
your
for this
text
purpose.
to appear in
If
the
wisely
video.
chosen as
So
to
let's
their
say, for
usefulness
example,
and
I
value
want
in
the
the
text to
future,
appear at the
they
start.
are permanent
So
in
I
their
can just
value
move it
and
to
their
the start of
earnings
the
or their
video.
sale will
And
provide
then
well
if I
for his
play it,
purpose.
you can see that
A
we
man
have
may
the
loan a
text
small sum to the
at the
money
start.
lender and increase it
And
at
then if
regular
we just want the
periods.
text to appear for
The rental
a
which the
short
money
while,
lender
we
adds to
can
this will
make it
largely
short.
add to its
Just like
increase.
this.
I do know a sandal maker
By the way, we can
named
zoom in
Anzan,
so that it's
who
easier to
explained
see.
to me not long ago that
So
each
maybe I
week
make
for
it
8
very
years
short.
he had deposited
And
with
then if
his
you
money
watch the
lender
video,
2 pieces of silver.
Over here,
The
you see
moneylender
that we
had
have
but
the text
recently given him an
for a
accounting
while,
over which
and
he
then
greatly
it's gone.
rejoiced.
So if you want the text to
The
appear
total of his
a
small
lot
deposits
longer,
with
then
their
we can
rental
just
at the
make it
customary rate of
a lot
1/4 their
longer.
value
Can
for
make it
each 4
for the
years
entire video.
had now
So this
become
way, the entire video will
1,040
have
pieces of silver.
the text. So
I did
next, how do
gladly
we actually
encourage him
change
further
the
by
text?
demonstrating
Well,
to
just
him with my
click
knowledge
on
of
your
the
text,
numbers
and
that
you
in
can
12
see that
years
on the
more,
right side, you
if he would
can
keep his
type
regular
in
deposits of but
whatever
2
you
pieces
want to
of
write,
silver each
your
week,
text.
the moneylender would
Here.
then owe him
So the first thing you can
4,000
do is
pieces
you
of
can
silver,
change the font.
a worthy
If you look at
competence for the
font,
rest of
you
his
see
life.
system. If you just click
Surely,
on this,
when
CapCut
such a
has a lot
small
of different
payment made
fonts
with
for you to
regularity
choose
doth
from.
produce
So
such
just take your
profitable
time,
results,
scroll through,
no man
and
can
then if
afford
you
not
click
to
on them,
ensure a treasure for his
you can
old
see
age
what
and the
the text
protection of his
will actually
family,
look like.
no matter how prosperous his
This,
business
click
and his
it, you
investments may
change
be.
like this.
I would that I might say more about
Okay,
this.
so there are a lot of fonts,
In
there
my
are
mind
hundreds of
rests a
them.
belief
So
that
just take your
someday wise
time, go
thinking
through
men will
and see which
devise a
one you
plan
like.
to ensure
Alright, so
against
moving
death
on, if
whereby
you want to
many
make
men
your
pay
text
in but a
bigger,
trifling
you
sum
can adjust
regularly,
the font size.
the
Just
aggregate
drag it to
making
the
a
right
handsome sum for
to
the
make it
family
bigger,
of each member who
like
passeth to the
this,
beyond.
or just drag it to the
This
left
do I see
to
as
make
something
it
desirable
smaller.
and which I could
And
highly
next thing
recommend.
is, you can also
But
adjust
today
the
it is
text.
not
So
possible
if you
because
want
it
the
must
text to
reach beyond the
appear
life of any
in the
man or
corner,
any
then just
partnership to
click
operate.
and then just drag it
It must be
to the
as stable
corner
as
like
the king's
this.
throne.
So you can just move the text
Someday
to
do I
wherever you
feel that
want.
such a plan
In
shall
your
come
video,
to
you can
pass
put it
and
at
be
the
a great
side,
blessing to
put it
many
in the
men,
corners,
because
like
even the
this,
first small
or you
payment
can
will
even
make
put it in the
available a
middle.
snug fortune
Now
for the
moving on, you
family
can
of a
also
member should he
bold
pass
your
on.
text, or you
But
can
because we
underline
live
your
in our own
text.
day and
You
not
can
in the
even
days
make it
which are
in
to come,
italics,
must we
just
take
like
advantage
this.
of those
Next,
means
you
and
can
ways of
change the color
accomplishing our
of your
purposes.
text. You can make it any color you
Therefore
want.
do I recommend
You
to
can make
all
it yellow,
men that
you can make
they,
it green,
by wise and
you can make it
well-thought-out
blue,
methods,
or you can also
do
use
provide
these
against a
colors
lean
that
purse in their
CapCut
mature
really
years.
provides for you. Now, the
For a
much
lean
easier
purse
way
to
to
a man no
customize the
longer able
text is
to
to
earn
just
or
use
to a
their
family
presets.
without
If
its
you
head
just
is a
scroll
sore
down,
tragedy.
you see that CapCut already
This,
has all these
then, is the
different
sixth cure
presets.
for
You
a
can
lean
just click on
purse.
them, and you
Provide
can
in
just see
advance
which
for the
one
needs
you
of thy
like.
growing age and the
Right?
protection
And
of thy family.
or these,
The seventh cure.
or even these.
Increase
Then
thy ability
below,
to earn.
you can add a stroke to your
This day
text.
do I speak
For
to
example,
thee,
if I
my
change
students,
it to
of
red
one
color,
of the
you
most
can
vital
see
remedies for a
there's
lean
an
purse.
outline, and you can adjust
Yet,
the thickness.
I will
You can
talk
make it
not of gold
less
but
thick,
of
or
yourselves,
you can make it very
of
thick.
the men beneath
Then
the
you can
robes
also
of
add a
many colors
background
who
to your
do sit
text,
before me.
just like this.
I will
You can
talk to
choose any
you of
color
those
you
things
want,
within the minds and lives of
and
men
you
which
can
do
play
work for
around
or
with it.
against their
You can make
success.
it more
So
rounded,
did Arcad address his
just like what you
class
see.
upon the seventh day. Not long ago came to me a young man seeking to borrow. When I questioned him the cause of his necessity, he complained that his earnings were insufficient to pay his expenses. Thereupon I explained to him, this being the case, he was a poor customer for the money lender, as he possessed no surplus earning capacity to repay the loan. What you need, young man, I told him, is to earn more coins. What dost thou to increase thy capacity to earn? All that I can do, he replied. 6 times within 2 moons have I approached my master to request my pay be increased, but without success. No man can go oftener than that. We may smile at his simplicity, yet he did possess one of the vital requirements to increase his earnings. Within him was a strong desire to earn more, a proper and commendable desire. Preceding accomplishment must be desire. Thy desires must be strong and definite. General desires are but weak longings. For a man to wish to be rich is of little purpose. For a man to desire 5 pieces of gold is a tangible desire which he can press to fulfillment. After he has backed his desire for 5 pieces of gold with strength of purpose to secure it, next he can find similar ways to obtain 10 pieces and then 20 pieces and later 1,000 pieces and, behold, he has become wealthy. In learning to secure his one definite small desire, he hath trained himself to secure a larger one. This is the process by which wealth is accumulated, first in small sums, then in larger ones as a man learns and becomes more capable. Desires must be simple and definite. They defeat their own purpose should they be too many, too confusing, or beyond a man's training to accomplish. As a man perfecteth himself in his calling, even so doth his ability to earn increase. In those days when I was a humble scribe carving upon the clay for a few coppers each day, I observed that other workers did more than I and were paid more. Therefore, did I determine that I would be exceeded by none. Nor did it take long for me to discover the reason for their greater success. More interest in my work, more concentration upon my task, more persistence in my effort, and, behold, few men could carve more tablets in a day than I. With reasonable promptness my increased skill was rewarded, nor was it necessary for me to go 6 times to my master to request recognition. The more of wisdom we know, the more we may earn. That man who seeks to learn more of his craft shall be richly rewarded. If he is an artisan, he may seek to learn the methods and the tools of those most skillful in the same line. If he laboreth at the law or at healing, he may consult and exchange knowledge with others of his calling. If he be a merchant, he may continually seek better goods that can be purchased at lower prices. Always do the affairs of man change and improve, because keen-minded men seek greater skill that they may better serve those upon whose patronage they depend. Therefore, I urge all men to be in the front rank of progress and not to stand still, lest they be left behind. Many things come to make a man's life rich with gainful experiences. Such things as the following, a man must do if he respect himself. He must pay his debts with all the promptness within his power, not purchasing that for which he is unable to pay. He must take care of his family that they may think and speak well of him. He must make a will of record that, in case the gods call him, proper and honorable division of his property be accomplished. He must have compassion upon those who are injured and smitten by misfortune and aid them within reasonable limits. He must do deeds of thoughtfulness to those dear to him. Thus the seventh and last remedy for a lean person is to cultivate thy own powers, to study and become wiser, to become more skillful, to so act as to respect thyself.
So let's move on.
Thereby shalt thou acquire confidence in thyself to achieve thy carefully considered desires. These then are the 7 cures for a lean purse, which, out of the experience of a long and successful life, I do urge for all men who desire wealth. There is more gold in Babylon, my students, than thou dreamest of. There is abundance for all.
So use a
Go
different
thou
color
forth
so you
and
can
practice
see.
these truths that thou
I'll use
mayest
red color.
prosper and grow wealthy,
So you can
as
adjust
is
the
thy right.
opacity.
Go thou forth
So
and
it's
teach
easier
these
to
truths
see.
that
You can
every
also
honorable
adjust the
subject of his
blurriness
majesty may also
like
share
this.
liberally in
You
the
can also
ample
adjust the
wealth of our
distance.
beloved city. Meet the
Right.
goddess of good
If I
luck.
use black color, you can see
If a
that
man be lucky,
you can create
there
this
is no
text
foretelling the
effect. If you
possible
turn off
extent
the
of his good
blurriness
fortune.
and you increase the
Pitch him
opacity,
into the
you can actually
Euphrates,
create
and
this
like
kind
as
of
not he
effect
will swim
where
out with a
you
pearl
cannot
in his
have this
hand.
3D
Babylonian
effect in
proverb.
your text.
The desire to be lucky
You
is
can also
universal.
add effects to your text. If
It
you
was
just click
just
on
as strong in the
effects over
breasts
here,
of men
you can see
4,000
that
years
CapCut
ago
have
in
a lot
ancient
of different,
Babylon as it is in the
effects
hearts
for
of
you to
men today.
choose. So
We
you
all
can
hope
just
to be
click on
favored
them
by the
and then
whimsical
just see
goddess
which
of
one you
good
like.
luck.
This is another way
Is
to
there some way we can meet her and
customize how you want your
attract
text
not
to
only
look
her
like.
favorable
Now the next
attention,
thing is you might be
but her
thinking, how
generous
can you add
favors?
animations to your text?
Is there a
If
way
you
to
just go
attract
to the
good
right
luck?
side, there's this thing that
That is
says
just what
animation,
the men of ancient
and then you can
Babylon
adjust
wished to know.
what kind of animations
It
you
is
want.
exactly
You just click
what
on
they
it,
decided
and
to
it will
find
show
out.
you what the
They were
animation
shrewd
looks
men
like.
and keen
So you
thinkers.
can just click
That
through and
explains
see
why
which
their
one you
city
like.
became the richest
Let's
and most
say
powerful
we
city
wanna
of their
go for
time.
typewriter,
In that distant
this,
past,
and you can also
they
play
had
around
no
the
schools or
duration.
colleges.
Can increase
Nevertheless,
it or
they
can
had
lower
a
it.
center of learning, and a
Okay, if you
very
increase it,
practical
that
one
means
it was.
the text will take longer
Among the
to
towered buildings
animate.
in Babylon was one
And
that
for
ranked
the
in
text
importance
to
with the palace
go
of the
away,
king, the
you
hanging
can also
gardens,
choose an
and the
animation.
temples of the
Under
gods.
animation,
You
if
will
you click
find
on
scant
out,
mention of
you
it
can
in
also
the
select
history
animation
books,
for the text
more likely
to
no mention at
disappear.
all,
Like
yet
this,
it exerted a powerful
like this,
influence upon the
like
thought of that
this.
time.
So there
This
are a lot of
building was
different
the temple
animations
of
you can go
learning where
and
the wisdom of
click
the
around
past
and
was
see which one
expounded
you
by
like. So as
voluntary
promised,
teachers
this is
and
how
where
to add
subjects
text
of
on
popular
CapCut.
interest were discussed in open forums.
If you want
Within
to learn
its
how
walls,
to
all men
animate
met as
in
equals.
CapCut, just
The
like
humblest
this,
of slaves
then
could
this
dispute
video
with impunity
will show
the
you
opinions
how
of a prince of the
step
royal house.
by step.
Among the many
Alright,
who
let's use this
frequented the
video as an
temple of
example.
learning was
And
a
let's say
wise
we want
rich
to
man
animate
named
this
Arcad,
image or
called
this
the
picture.
richest man in
So first, let
Babylon.
me just extend it.
He had his
throughout
own
the video.
special hall where
And let's
almost
start
any
off by
evening a large
making it
group of
smaller.
men,
And let's
some
start by
old,
putting it in
some
the
very
corner.
young,
So first,
but
before you want to
mostly
animate
middle-aged,
anything, you need to first
gathered to
decide
discuss
when
and argue
you want to
interesting
start the
subjects.
animation. It could be at the start
Suppose
of
we
your
listen
video,
in to see
or it
whether
could be
they knew
any
how to
point
attract
in
good
your
luck.
video. So let's say we want to
The
start
sun had
animating
just set
over
like
here.
a great red
First,
ball of
you need
fire
to
shining
click
through the haze of
on the
desert
thing
dust
that you
when
want to
Arcad
animate,
strolled to
and
his
then,
accustomed
if you look on the
platform.
right side, there is
Already full
position and
fourscore
size.
men were awaiting
To the
his
right,
arrival,
there is this
reclining
diamond.
on their
If you move
small
your
rugs
mouse over,
spread
it
upon
says
the floor.
add keyframe.
More
So
were
you're just
still
clicking on the
arriving.
very first diamond
What
over
shall
here.
we discuss
If you
this
click
night?
it, it's going to
Arcad
add a
inquired.
keyframe like this. So
After
here you can
a
see
brief
we have our first
hesitation,
keyframe.
a tall cloth
Then
weaver
just
addressed
move
him,
forward,
arising as
and then
was the
now
custom.
you can animate your
I have a subject
image
I would
or your
like to
picture.
hear discussed
So
yet
just
hesitate
adjust it
to offer lest it
however
seem
you want it
ridiculous to you,
look like.
Arcad,
Let's say I
and
want
my
to
good
move
friends
it
here.
from here to
Upon being urged to
here,
offer it,
like this,
both by Arcad
okay?
and by calls
and
from the
when
others,
I let go of my mouse,
he
you're going to
continued,
see that
"This day I
another
have been
keyframe will be
lucky,
added
for I
over
have
here,
found a
just
purse
like
in which
this.
there are
Now
pieces
let
of
me play
gold.
the video and
To
show you what
continue
we
to
have.
be lucky is my great
Originally it's over
desire.
here,
Feeling that
and
all
then
men
it's just
share
going
with
to
me
move
this
to
desire,
exactly
I do
where
suggest we
move
debate how
the
to
image
attract
to.
good luck that
So
we
as
may
you can
discover
see,
ways it
the
can be
first
enticed to
keyframe
one.
is what it
A
looks
most
like at the
interesting
very
subject
start.
has been offered,
And then the second
Arcad
keyframe
commented,
over
one
here
most worthy of
is
our
what it will look
discussion.
like in the end.
To
So
some
the first
men,
keyframe is the
good luck
before,
bespeaks but a
and then the
chance
second
happening that, like an accident, may befall one without purpose or reason. Others do believe that the instigator of all good fortune is our most bounteous goddess, Ashta, ever anxious to reward with generous gifts those who please her. Speak up, my friends, what say you? Shall we seek to find if there be means by which good luck may be enticed to visit each and all of us? Yeah. Yeah. And much of it? Responded the growing group of eager listeners. Thereupon Arcad continued, to start our discussion, let us first hear from those among us who have enjoyed experiences similar to that of the cloth weaver in finding or receiving, without effort upon their part, valuable treasures or jewels. There was a pause in which all looked about expecting someone to reply, but no one did. What? No one? Arcad said, then rare indeed must be this kind of good luck. Who now will offer a suggestion as to where we shall continue our search? That I will do, spoke a well-robed young man, arising. When a man speaketh of luck, is it not natural that his thoughts turn to the gaining tables? Is it not there we find many men courting the favor of the goddess in hope she will bless them with rich winnings? As he resumed his seat, a voice called, do not stop. Continue thy story. Tell us, didst thou find favor with the goddess at the gaming tables? Did she turn the cubes with red side up so thou filled thy purse at the dealer's expense, or did she permit the blue sides to come up so the dealer raked in thy hard-earned pieces of silver? The young man joined the good-natured laughter, then replied, I am not averse to admitting she seemed not to know I was even there. But how about the rest of you? Have you found her waiting about such places to roll the cubes, in your favor? We are eager to hear as well as to learn. A wise start, broke in Arcad. We meet here to consider all sides of each question. To ignore the gaming table would be to overlook an instinct common to most men, the love of taking a chance with a small amount of silver in the hope of winning much gold. That doth remind me of the races but yesterday, called out another listener. If the goddess frequents the gaming tables, certainly she does not overlook the races where the gilded chariots and the foaming horses offer far more excitement. Tell us honestly, Arcad, didst she whisper to you to place your bet upon those grey horses from Nineveh yesterday? I was standing just behind thee and could scarce believe my ears when I heard thee place thy bet upon the greys. Thou knowest as well as any of us that no team in all Assyria can beat our beloved bays in a fair race. Didst the goddess whisper in thy ear to bet upon the greys because at the last turn the inside black would stumble and so interfere with our bays that the greys would win the race and score an unearned victory? Arcad smiled indulgently at the banter. What reason have we to feel the good goddess would take that much interest in any man's bet upon a horse race? To me she is a goddess of love and dignity whose pleasure it is to aid those who are in need and to reward those who are deserving. I look to find her, not at the gaming tables or the races where men lose more gold than they win, but in other places where the doings of men are more worthwhile and more worthy of reward. In tilling the soil, in honest trading, in all of man's occupations, there is opportunity to make a profit upon his efforts and his transactions. Perhaps not all the time will he be rewarded, because sometimes his judgment may be faulty and other times the winds and the weather may defeat his efforts. Yet, if he persists, he may usually expect to realize his profit. This is so because the chances of profit are always in his favor. But, when a man playeth the games, the situation is reversed, for the chances of profit are always against him and always in favor of the gamekeeper. The game is so arranged that it will always favor the keeper. It is his business at which he plans to make a liberal profit for himself from the coins bet by the players. Few players realize how certain are the gamekeeper's profits and how uncertain are their own chances to win. For example, let us consider wagers placed upon the cube. Each time it is cast we bet which side will be uppermost. If it be the red side, the game master pays to us 4 times our bet. But if any other of the 5 sides come uppermost, we lose our bet. Thus the figures show that for each cast we have 5 chances to lose, but because the red pays 4 for 1, we have 4 chances to win. In a night's play the game master can expect to keep for his profit 1/5 of all the coins wagered. Can a man expect to win more than occasionally against odds so arranged that he should lose 1/5 of all his bets? Yet some men do win large sums at times, volunteered one of the listeners. Quite so, they do, Arcad continued. Realizing this, the question comes to me whether money secured in such ways brings permanent value to those who are thus lucky. Among my acquaintances are many of the successful men of Babylon, yet among them I am unable to name a single one who started his success from such a source. You who are gathered here tonight know many more of our substantial citizens. To me it would be of much interest to learn how many of our successful citizens can credit the gaming tables with their start to success. Suppose each of you tell of those you know. What say you? After a prolonged silence, a wag ventured, "Wouldst thy inquiry include the gamekeepers?" "If you think of no one else," Arcad responded. "If not one of you can think of anyone else, then how about yourselves? Are there any consistent winners with us who hesitate to advise such a source for their incomes?" His challenge was answered by a series of groans from the rear taken up and spread amid much laughter. "It would seem we are not seeking good luck in such places as the goddess frequents," he continued. "Therefore let us explore other fields. We have not found it in picking up lost wallets. Neither have we found it haunting the gaming tables. As to the races, I must confess to have lost far more coins there than I have ever won. Now, suppose we consider our trades and businesses. Is it not natural if we conclude a profitable transaction to consider it not good luck but a just reward for our efforts? I am inclined to think we may be overlooking the gifts of the goddess. Perhaps she really does assist us when we do not appreciate her generosity. Who can suggest further discussion?" Thereupon an elderly merchant arose, smoothing his genteel white robe. "With thy permission, most honorable Arcad and my friends, I offer a suggestion. If, as you have said, we take credit to our own industry and ability for our business success, why not consider the successes we almost enjoyed but which escaped us, happenings which would have been most profitable? They would have been rare examples of good luck if they had actually happened. Because they were not brought to fulfillment we cannot consider them as our just rewards. Surely many men here have such experiences to relate. Here is a wise approach," Arcad approved. "Who among you have had good luck within your grasp only to see it escape?" Many hands were raised, among them that of the merchant. Arcad motioned to him to speak. "As you suggested this approach, we should like to hear first from you." "I will gladly relate a tale," he resumed, "that doth illustrate how closely unto a man good luck may approach and how blindly he may permit it to escape, much to his loss and later regret. Many years ago, when I was a young man, just married, and well started to earning, my father did come one day and urge most strongly that I enter in an investment. The son of one of his good friends had taken notice of a barren tract of land not far beyond the outer walls of our city. It lay high above the canal where no water could reach it. The son of my father's friend devised a plan to purchase this land, build 3 large water wheels that could be operated by oxen and thereby raise the life-giving waters to the fertile soil. This accomplished, he planned to divide into small tracts and sell to the residents of the city for herb patches. The son of my father's friend did not possess sufficient gold to complete such an undertaking. Like myself, he was a young man earning a fair sum. His father, like mine, was a man of large family and small means. He, therefore, decided to interest a group of men to enter the enterprise with him. The group was to comprise 12, each of whom must be a money earner and agree to pay 1/10 of his earnings into the enterprise until the land was made ready for sale. All would then share justly in the profits in proportion to their investment. Thou, my son, bespoke my father unto me, art now in thy young manhood. It is my deep desire that thou begin the building of a valuable estate for myself, that thou mayest become respected among men. I desire to see thou profit from a knowledge of the thoughtless mistakes of thy father. This do I most ardently desire, my father, I replied. Then, this do I advise. Do what I should have done at thy age. From thy earnings keep out 1/10 to put into favorable investments. With this 1/10 of thy earnings and what it will also earn, thou canst, before thou art my age, accumulate for thyself a valuable estate. Thy words are words of wisdom, my father. Greatly do I desire riches. Yet there are many uses to which my earnings are called. Therefore, do I hesitate to do as thou dost advise. I am young. There is plenty of time. So I thought at thy age, yet behold, many years have passed and I have not yet made the beginning. We live in a different age, my father. I shall avoid thy mistakes. Opportunity stands before thee, my son. It is offering a chance that may lead to wealth. I beg of thee, do not delay. Go upon the morrow to the son of my friend and bargain with him to pay 10% of thy earnings into this investment. Go promptly upon the morrow. Opportunity waits for no man. Today it is here, soon it is gone. Therefore, delay not. In spite of the advice of my father, I did hesitate. There were beautiful new robes just brought by the tradesmen from the east, robes of such richness and beauty, my good wife and I felt we must each possess one. Should I agree to pay 1/10 of my earnings into the enterprise, we must deprive ourselves of these and other pleasures we dearly desired. I delayed making a decision until it was too late, much to my subsequent regret. The enterprise did prove to be more profitable than any man had prophesied. This is my tale, showing how I did permit good luck to escape. In this tale we see how good luck waits to come to that man who accepts opportunity, commented a swarthy man of the desert. To the building of an estate there must always be the beginning. That start may be a few pieces of gold or silver which a man diverts from his earnings to his first investment. I, myself, am the owner of many herds.
After. And that's why
The
you can
start
see
of
that
my herds
between
I
these
did
two
begin when I was a
keyframes,
mere boy
it's
and
going
did
to
purchase with
move
1 piece of silver
like
a young
this.
calf.
So you can
This,
animate
being
or
the
capture
beginning of
by
my wealth,
moving things around
was of great
from point
importance
A
to me.
to point B.
To take
You
his
can
first
also
start
make
to
things
building an
bigger or
estate is
smaller.
as good
So
luck
let me
as
just
can come
click on
to
the
any
second
man.
keyframe, and let's
With
say
all
we
men,
make
that
it
first
bigger
step,
like this.
which changes them from
put it in
men
the
who
middle.
earn from their own labor to men
So
who draw
here you can
dividends
see,
from the earnings
this
of
is what
their
the first
gold,
keyframe
is important.
This is what the second keyframe
Some,
is. So it's going to start off
fortunately,
like this,
take it when
and
young
it'll
and
end
thereby
up
outstrip
looking
in
like
financial
that.
success those who
So
do
if I play
take
the
it later,
video,
or those unfortunate
it's going
men,
to look like this.
like the father
So
of
here you
this
can see we
merchant,
can
who
animate
never
by
take
making
it.
it move.
Had
We
our
can also
friend,
make it bigger.
the merchant,
So I'm going to
taken this
animate it
step in his
again.
early
So I'm
manhood
just
when
going to
this
do what I just
opportunity
did.
came to
Okay,
him,
let's say at
this
this
day
point,
he would be blessed
I want
with
to
much
animate
more of this
image.
world's goods.
So just like before,
Should the good luck
over
of our
at
friend,
position and
the
size,
cloth weaver,
we click on
cause
the
him to
very
take
first
such a
diamond,
step
which
at
is
this
at
time,
keyframe.
it
So
will
I click
indeed
it,
be but the
we have our
beginning
first
of much
keyframe,
greater good
move
fortune.
forward,
Thank
and
you.
now we can
I
animate
like to
the
speak.
image. Okay, just
Also,
move it to exactly how you want
A
it to look
stranger
like
from another
at the
country
end.
arose.
So let's say this time round,
I am a
I'm
Syrian.
going to move
Not
it
so
to the
well
side.
do I
I'm
speak
going to
your
make
tongue.
it smaller. I'm
I
also
wish
going
to
to
call this
rotate.
friend,
So these
the
are all the
merchant,
things you can do
a
to
name.
animate your
Maybe you think it not
images or your
polite,
pictures.
this
So if I
name.
play the video,
Yet I
you're going
wish
see
to call
it's
him
going to start
that.
off like this,
But,
and it will end up
alas,
looking like that.
I
So
not
I'll
know
just play
your
the
word
video.
for it.
So
If
now
I
you might
do
be
call
thinking,
it
how
in
can you
Syrian,
control the speed
you will
of
not
animation?
understand.
How can you make the animation
Therefore,
go faster or
please some
slower?
good gentleman,
Well, you can do that
tell
by
me that right
adjusting
name you
the
call man who
distance
puts off
between
doing
your
those things
two
that mighty good for
keyframes.
him.
So if you want to make the animation to be
Procrastinator,
very
called a
slow,
voice.
then just make sure that
That's
these
him,
two keyframes
shouted the
are
Syrian,
very far
waving
apart.
his hands
So I'm going to make
excitedly.
it quite far,
He accepts not
like this.
opportunity when she
and
comes.
if I play the video,
He waits.
you're going to see that
He says, I
the
have much
animation will
business
be
right now.
very slow.
By
That's
and by I
because
talk to
the
you.
two keyframes are very far
Opportunity,
apart.
she will
Okay,
not
if I
wait
make them
for such
closer
slow
like
fellow.
this,
She thinks
It's
if a
very
man
close to each
desires
other,
to be lucky,
then the
he will step
animation will
quick.
be a lot faster.
Any man not step quick when
Just like
opportunity
this.
comes,
So
he big
if I make them even
procrastinator like
closer,
our friend,
then the animation
this
will be
merchant.
even faster.
The merchant
So
arose
if you
and
want to
bowed
make the animation
good-naturedly in
fast, then
response to
just
the
bring the
laughter.
two keyframes
My
closer
admiration
to
to
each
thee,
other.
stranger
The closer
within
they
our
are,
gates,
the faster
who
the
hesitates
animation
not to
will
speak
be.
the truth.
If you want the animation to
And
be
now
slower,
let us hear another
then you
tale
want
of
to
opportunity.
bring them far apart.
Who has for
Okay,
us
the
another
further
experience?
they are, the longer
Demanded
and
Arcad.
slower the animation
I
will
have,
be. So here you can
responded
see
a
the
red-robed
keyframes
man
are
of
very
middle
far
age.
apart. And when I play
I
the
am a
video,
buyer of
you can
animals,
see that the
mostly
animation
camels
is
and
very,
horses.
very slow.
Sometimes I do also buy the sheep and goats.
If you want to learn how to
The
use
tale I am
keyframe
about
in
to relate will
CapCut
tell
so you
truthfully
can move
how
things around
opportunity
like
came
this,
one night when I
rotate
did least
them,
expect
make them
it.
smaller, make them
Perhaps
bigger,
for this reason
or
I did
animate
let
them
it
any way
escape.
you want. You can also
Of
zoom
this you shall
in
be the
like
judge.
this. You can also move
Returning
the
to
camera
the city
to
one evening
anywhere
after
you
a
want.
disheartening
You can
10
also
days
zoom
journey in
out
search of
like
camels,
that. You can
I
also
was much
fade to
angered to
black,
find the gates of
and
the
you can
city
also
closed
fade
and
in,
locked.
just like this.
While my
You
slaves
can also
spread our
track
tent
a
for the night,
subject for
which we
vertical
looked to
videos
spend
and
with little
much,
food and
much
no
more.
eye water,
Keep watching because
I was
this
approached
video
by
will
an
show
elderly
you how
farmer
to use
who,
keyframe
like
in
ourselves,
CapCut step
found himself
by
locked
step.
outside. Honored sir, he
Assalamu
addressed me,
alaikum wa
from thy
rahmatullahi wa
appearance,
barakatuh, my
I
dear
do
brothers
judge thee
and
to be a
sisters.
buyer.
The
If this
innocent
be
people
so,
of
much would I
Palestine
like
are
to
in
sell to thee the
desperate
most
need.
excellent flock of
They
sheep
need
just driven up. Alas,
Alright, let's
my
use
good
this
wife
video
lies
as an
very sick
example.
with
So
the
we'll start
fever.
with the basics, how
I
you can
must
use
return with all
keyframe
haste.
to move an image
Buy thou my sheep
or
that I
a
and my
text.
slaves may mount
So I'll
our
start off
camels
with an
and
image.
travel back
So
without
first let
delay.
me just position
So
it
dark
like
it was
this.
that I could not see his
Okay.
flock, but
So
from
how
the
do we
bleating I
use
did know it must be
keyframe
large.
to move?
Having wasted 10 days searching for camels I could not find, I was glad to bargain with him. In his anxiety, he did set a most reasonable price. I accepted, well knowing my slaves could drive the flock through the city gates in the morning and sell at a substantial profit. The bargain concluded, I called my slaves to bring torches that we might count the flock, which the farmer declared to contain 900. I shall not burden you, my friends, with a description of our difficulty in attempting to count so many thirsty, restless, milling sheep. It proved to be an impossible task. Therefore, I bluntly informed the farmer I would count them at daylight and pay him then. Please, most honorable sir, he pleaded, pay me but 2/3 of the price tonight that I may be on my way. I will leave my most intelligent and educated slave to assist to make the count in the morning. He is trustworthy